Saturday from Regina, Saskatchewan, where tributes are everywhere for number 34 George Reed, who passed away this week at the age of 83. Before the game today, a special ceremony for the legendary player. We take you there now and join Daryl Brace at Mosaic Stadium.
Rider fans and CFL fans from coast to coast, we have dedicated tonight's game to remember, celebrate, and honor the great Roughrider legends of days past. It is with heavy hearts that we take a moment to pause and acknowledge the passing of Saskatchewan Roughrider icon, George Reed. George exemplified what it meant to be a Rough Rider, both on and off the field. He was as tough as they come on the field while selflessly giving back to the CFL community around him. As we celebrate George's legacy, we would like to draw your attention to the upper north end of Mosaic Stadium. The Rough Riders are proud to dedicate Section 34 to George's memory, and we are honored to have members of George's family sitting there tonight. Please give a warm Rider Nation welcome to his wife Angie, daughters Georgette and Vicky, and son Keith. At this time, Georgette would like to say a few words on behalf of George.
Rider Nation, thank you. For 60 years, you supported our family and cheered on my dad in all of his exploits on the field and off the field, supporting the community. This is the best place in the world, and we thank you for your support and your love for our family. Let's go Riders!
Thank you, Georgette. Fans, please turn to the SaskTel Maxtron as we look back at the exceptional life of number 34, George Reed.
The fullback, wearing 34, George Reed.
In life, as in sport, there are rules and exceptions.
Good job, George Reed again. The big guy starts to go.
George Reed was exceptional. Breaking the mold on the football field, he amassed staggering numbers year after year. Over a fitting 13 seasons in green and white, Reed rushed for more than 16,000 yards, finding the end zone an astonishing 134 times along the way.
Hand off Reed. No stopping him. Touchdown!
As superhuman as he was between the lines, his impact was even more remarkable in the community. He always made time for an autograph, handshake, picture, or conversation you could carry with you for a lifetime. Being number one in so many statistical categories, George unfailingly put others first. His family, his friends, his fans. Born in Mississippi and raised in Washington State, he made our province and our country his home. In his own words, George would assert, "I came, I played, I stayed." And so he will stay. Saskatchewan forever.
We ask that you remain standing, remove your headwear. At the request of George's family, we are going to observe a moment of celebration. Let's hear it for George Reed. Rider Nation, you can get louder than that. One more time, let's give it up for George. Nation.
Doreen, and good luck to this man. Bo Levi Mitchell, injured in Ottawa back on July the 28th. Mitchell has been sidelined the past 8 games, now healthy, ready to return back under center for the Hamilton Tiger Cats as they get set for the postseason. It is Saturday night of Thanksgiving weekend. Dave Naylor, Jim Barker, Milt Stegall as we get set for the Riders taking on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. But now we see Bo. It'll be interesting to see how much of Bo we see. Him and Matthew Schultz, they were spending a lot of time together in practice. But for Bo, I think this is just a confidence point in the season, is it not?
Well, I think he's just got to reestablish himself, especially since things didn't go that well for him. He's got 3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions on the season. Look, I'll call myself curious on this. I'm curious to see what version of Bo Levi Mitchell we get. I'm curious to see how much he plays and how much Matthew Schultz may play in the same game. And I'm also curious to see if there's any effect of Scott Milanovich, their offensive coordinator, who's had to miss practice and is not present at the game today because of a family matter. The play calling and OC title is in the hands of offensive line coach Mike Gibson. We don't know whether Bo's going to lean into that, but just another variable, another wrinkle to look into his return.
Well, I think this game for Bo Levi is very important. I think he needs to show his teammates that he's here and that we're ready to go on to the promised land. But this stadium, watching that George Reed thing, I mean, I was fired up, ready to go. If the Saskatchewan Roughriders the last 4 weeks have been stale, they haven't played with excitement. That stadium was packed and they're rocking. If they don't get it up for this one, Milt, they don't want to back into the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. You know, they have a great opportunity, and they have to be concerned with that 4-game losing streak. Yes, the Calgary Stampeders are still 2 games behind them, but if they lose this game, they have Calgary next week. They lose that game, and now they're panicking. So they have so much energy in this stadium right now, so much to play for. They have to come out early and take advantage of it and win this game.
I'm with both of you. Just that feeling with the entire tribute. I mean, if they don't snap this slide in this game, I mean, I don't know what to say at this point, but we'll see how Bo does. Here are the guys calling the game. It's Dustin Nielsen and Glenn Suter.
Thank you, Kate. You could not ask for a more beautiful early October day in Regina as Thanksgiving weekend rolls on with the Riders set to host the Ticats. It's no doubt an important game for both clubs. Bo Levi Mitchell returning, certainly a big storyline here. But with the CFL and the franchise honoring a CFL legend in George Reed, we feel it's important to put the spotlight on the running backs.
Yeah, important game for both teams, of course, but we also get a chance tonight to honor the legend and pay homage to the legend George Reed. Jamal Morrow said he's been inspired by George Reed both on and off the field and is looking for his biggest game of the season. We've got 2 great tailbacks tonight because James Butler has been on a roll and is just shy of 60 yards away from 1,000.
Hamilton been turning it around again at this point of the season, trying to track down the Montreal Alouettes. A slide is what they're trying to stop with the Riders. They have lost 4 in a row, and this is a big one. Hamilton has won 4 of their last 6. Their only 2 losses actually against the Toronto Argos. Saskatchewan won the toss. They deferred. Hamilton is going to take the football. And like I said, ridiculous weather here. 21 degrees in October as we kick this thing off on a legacy day here at Mosaic. It'll be taken at the 11 and brought back up to about the 25 and no further. Special teams big here early. And our first look at Bo Levi Mitchell back in the lineup.
Well, his record against Saskatchewan, he certainly knows this team well, even though it's their only game of the season, Hamilton, against the Riders this year. He knows Saskatchewan well, of course, his time in Calgary. He's 11-4 against this football team.
Last time we saw him, he was throwing for 353 yards, a couple of touchdowns, 5 picks, and then was hurt in that game against Ottawa. They work from the Hamilton 26 out into the flat, has a completion, pushing ahead, and that will be close to a first down as he got it into the hands of his running back, Thomas Erlington, a piece of this offense for Hamilton.
Yeah, Coach Steinauer told us that when they've settled in with these two young tackles in Jordan Murray and Tyrone Riley, it's really solidified their run game with James Butler, and that has helped either Taylor Powell or recently Matthew Schultz, which we probably will see tonight. We'll see Schultz as well. Now Mike Gibson is calling the plays. He's the offensive line coach because Scott Milanovich has had to deal with a family situation.
Bo keeps the ball to his right, down the field, and that one almost intercepted. Marshall looked like he had a pretty good crack at it, and you can see him bouncing here early. Could not haul it in.
Real well covered on this route, and you could see when Mitchell, who little play action to Butler on the interior run, but you could see well covered with Dolke coming from the inside out, and you can't get better position than Nick Marshall was in there.
Trying to drop it in to Amar Bayless. Did not work. 2nd and 10 from the Hamilton 36. 3 options to the left for Bo, and there's a challenge flag on the far side of the field. Orlando Steinauer is not messing around here. He's going to throw a challenge on that last attempted pass to Amar Bayless.
Well, Bayless had the corner route. He was heading towards the sideline.
Challenging the previous play for defensive pass interference on Saskatchewan number 3.
He snuck that in just in time, didn't he?
Yeah, he got it in there just before they got that ball snap. But as he's running this corner, I think what he's looking at is that Nick Marshall, did he impede Bayless to get to the top of this route?
Watch Bayless right here. He tries to cut over to this ball. We'll find out. Steinauer can get the win.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. 2nd down.
So Steinauer goes to 1 for 7 on challenges this season.
Yeah, this is Bayless running his corner route, and Nick Marshall is allowed his position. He turns to the ball, and he's facing the ball. In fact, he has a better shot at the interception here than Bayless does
40 seconds
at the ball as a reception. So he threw his hands up to try and sell it, but I think that was the correct call to leave that as they called it on the field, which was just good defense.
Interesting decision to challenge something so early in this ball game for Hamilton. 2nd and 10 on their own 36. Crowd getting into the game early here in Mosaic. Mitchell tries that side of the field again, drops it in at midfield. This time he goes to the steady hands of Tim White. First down, Hamilton.
Yeah, this guy is 5th in the league. Tim White is an all-star, having an all-star season. And he's going to run the deep out here. He gets that deep out, and the ball is right where it has to be because, again, the coverage was there. This time was Deontay Williams from the halfback spot in great position. But that ball, not defendable.
21 yards for White, who actually leads the league in targets down the field of 20 yards or more. A nice cut. Straight up the middle. First down into the hands of Butler.
Last week, just shy of 100 yards for number 9, James Butler. I think both these tailbacks are going to be inspired tonight to have maybe their best game. You know, we talked to Jamal Morrow. Didn't get a chance to talk to Butler this week, but tailbacks across the country, and they know the legacy of George Reed.
11 yards for Butler there, 47 away from 1,000. The 3rd running back to hit it this season. Back into his belly again. Ball pops loose. Riders trying to hop all over it. Once again, turnover, strike against the Ticats. If Hamilton's not able to recover this, and they're not, the home side comes with the ball. One official already pointed that it was Riders' ball here. The Ticats are still saying it's theirs.
All turnovers are reviewed, so they'll look. There's no question that James Butler did not go down by contact before the ball came loose. The question is who recovered it. Moncrief was in there.
They do confirm it that the Riders do have the ball.
Micah Johnson looks like he's got it. Woodmansey's trying to pull it out of there. Moncrief involved. They're saying Rider football.
Ticats coming into this game, 38 turnovers on the year. That's the most in the Canadian Football League. They've tacked on another one here early. Dolagala. He'll hand it off to start the game. Short pickup right on the middle on first down. Let's take a look at Dolagala here, making his 7th start of the season.
8th start overall, 7th of the season, as you mentioned, and first start against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And unless these two teams meet in the Grey Cup, which is possible, the only meeting between these two this year.
Hamilton, so far this season, has beaten BC, they've beaten Winnipeg, and they've beaten both teams in Alberta. Only game against the Riders, trying to beat them here too. Completion to Emelis, and look at him pick his way up the field onto the Ticats side of the field. Yeah, this goes for 18.
It's interesting you say that, Dustin, because that's the Hamilton side of it, and the Rider side of it is a 4-game losing skid. But Jake Dolagala in his first start beat BC.
Yeah.
And his second on Labor Day beat Winnipeg.
Both these teams have beaten those two teams that we saw play an absolute doozy of a game on Friday Night Football. 1st and 10 on the Ticat, 52 for Dolagala. Trying to set the screen on the far side, and that is in and out of the hands of Sean Bain Jr., one of the weapons in this Riders offense.
And take a look at that big offensive line. There was some question on Brandon Council, but he is going to start at right tackle out of Auburn. He was a game day decision, and there's Jamal Morrows. Had a pedestrian-type year, but is healthy. Missed the last couple of games. Frankie Hickson played for him. He's back healthy, fresh legs, and again, inspired by the memory of George Reed.
Dolagala throwing here on 2nd and 10. Quickly gets it out of his hands. Stumbling ahead. First down, Riders. Drops it right back into Bain. And this time he hangs on with a few yards after the catch.
Nice route run here by Bain. He's going to come out of that speed cut. Sometimes you want to make a move and kind of shake a receiver, and sometimes you just want to get to that spot as quickly as you can and make that speed cut to the out. Bain executes it excellent and gets the first down.
1st and 10 from the Hamilton 41 now for Dolagala. And they fumble! Dolagala tries to hop on it. Looks like the Ticats had a good look at it. But look at the sigh of relief for Jake Dolagala as the Riders avoid early disaster.
Just an issue at the exchange, just as Schaefer Baker coming across that ball high up into the shoulder pad area. The running back, or receiver in this case, he doesn't want to look at the ball. He wants to just hold his hands open. Now, he had his hands in an awkward position, too. Usually having one arm up and the other arm underneath. Just as
Go, Jeff, punt team ready.
Problem right at the handoff.
Garrett Davis had a great look at that loose ball, but could not hang on. Now Dolagala, a little bit of time, gets it to Stearns. Did he catch and fumble? No, they're going to blow it down as an incomplete. Ticats did scoop it up and will take it back the other way, but that whistle did go quickly. A little bit of an interesting start here, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Ball security issue for both teams here. I'm sure they'll get that reminder from their head coaches on the sideline when they get there. And it looked like there was control of that ball. Brett Lowther had walked on the field and was trying to get Craig Dickinson's attention and didn't.
Let me take a run at it.
Yeah.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen here.
Would have been a deep shot. Lowther's 9 of 14 from beyond 50 so far this season. Instead, Korsak will drop a punt in. Pretty good one right down to the 5. And special teams tackle on McAllister. Nowhere to go. That's from Thomas Bertrand Houdon. Honoring a legend here at Mosaic. And we'll have more on that legend when we return. Well, it certainly is an emotional day here at Mosaic as they honor number 34, George Reed, who was a legend on the field. And as you heard in the pregame, he played and then he stayed and became a legend off the field as well.
Well, as a player, Dustin, just bigger than life, of course, but, you know, as a person, just so revered here in this province and across the country, and Canadian football fans across the country. So generous with his time, humble superstar. The numbers are absolutely incredible, but a pillar in the community was George Reed, and at his special section and seat where he sat with the crowd, talking to the crowd at every turn and signing every autograph. Guys that weren't born understand the legacy that is George Reed. And George and Ronnie really started Rider Nation. They were the beginning of all of it. George Reed was back in 1963, was his rookie year, was the MOP in 65. 13 seasons. The numbers are remarkable. 13 seasons. The Riders never missed the playoffs when George Reed was in the lineup.
Hard to think of many in the history of sport who can match a legacy like that. A big completion down the middle of the field, staying on his feet. Look at this, White. Incredible stuff down to the 20, to the 10, and they will eventually force him out. That's a big-time play from a big-time player, 88 yards. Bo Levi to Tim White.
Was it ever? I mean, wow. This, to talk off the top, that Tim White is having an all-star season. I mean, just get your ballot and check all-star for number 12 running this slant. But it starts with a great accurate throw that gives him a chance to regroup and then start to make people miss in the secondary, and then shows some speed as he outruns the pursuit angle of William Poole, who's playing for Jeremy Clark tonight.
And they had 4 guys right around him at midfield, and he escaped and got out of there. Ticats in business, first and goal on the Rider 10. 3 options to the right. Mitchell, a ton of time to the end zone. Touchdown, Hamilton. Drops it in there for Omar Bayless. His first in the Canadian Football League. And the Tiger Cats go on top.
Heard the panel talk about before the game. They want to see what kind of form they're going to see out of Bo Levi Mitchell. Is it the old days back in the Calgary days when he was just slinging it from the deep in the pocket? Well, those are back-to-back throws for Bo Levi Mitchell that, you know, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself. But he told us this week, the arm is live. I've had all this time off. My upper body's been great. I'm as healthy as in his arm strength as he's been in the last few years. We saw an example of that in the last 2 throws.
3 plays, 100 yards. 88, of course, to Tim White on one of them. And then Bo Levi Mitchell. How good is it to see him back healthy in the Canadian Football League? Great if you're Bayless on the receiving end of that one.
How about the route running of rookie Amar Bayless out of Maryland? It's just going to put a clinic on here. Little out move and then back to the post, and that freezes Deontay Williams. Wide open over the middle for the touchdown throw from Bo Levi Mitchell.
See you later, eh?
Just great route running.
Move. Bayless, just 12 catches coming into this ball game. None matching that one. Bertrand Houdon on the return as they kick it away from Maru Alford. And the rookie takes it all the way back out to the 34. Let's take another look at this strike from Bo Levi.
Well, the timing on the throw is ideal because Bo, first of all, is going to look off. He looked to his left, so that kept Jaden Dalkey or any safety playing in the middle away from his receiver in Bayless, and then flips his eyes over to Bayless. Wow, pretty athletic celebration. And the timing on the throw, bang on.
Love you, Scott. Shout out there to
Scott Milanovic,
who's been away from the team this week dealing with a personal matter. Nice carry right up the middle from Jamal Morrow. Let's take a look at this Ticats defense here this evening.
Casey Sale has been playing real well in the back half of this season. Malik Carney as well. Pick Sales to highlight for this one. Jameer Thurman leads their team in defensive tackles at middle linebacker. And Katsatonis is playing great at the safety. I mean, he and Lacroix, to me, top 2 safeties in the league.
4 interceptions for the former UBC Thunderbird this season. Katsatonis. Another decent chunk on first down here for the Riders. 5 more on the ground.
Yeah, Katsatonis really kind of keeping what has been a little bit of movement in that secondary and that back end. Kenneth George has played the whole season, but he's played in different positions. Will Sunderland just in his 2nd straight start, and Dexter Lawson at halfback. So your safety's got to pull that all together when you got young guys back there.
Empty backfield for Dolegala, near side. Perfectly timed into the arms of Emelis for his 2nd catch of the ball game.
A good catch on the out throw. I noticed a matchup, though, because they had Jamal Moore running it out in the same side of the field. There's 25, you see just to the bottom right of your screen. Hamilton had Jagarrett Davis covering him on that route. I don't think the Riders will go back to that.
Now they'll hand it off for Tranudon on first down. Jake Dolegala coming off a interesting game, threw for over 400 yards, but did not have a touchdown pass in that loss.
Yeah, it's been a while since that's happened. And, you know, I asked him this week, throw for I actually said well over 300 in our call this week, and it was actually over 400 yards.
That is well
BC.
over 300.
Yes, well, it is, yeah. But he was like, yeah, we just got to be more consistent when we get in the score zone.
He's 8th in the league in passing yards. He's only had 6 starts. That's a nice completion. Gets it to his running back for a first down. Helmet popped off, but first down picked up by Jamal Morrow.
And one of the things that Jake Dolegala told us this week was that they've got some special packages and some really good looks for Jamal Morrow this week, and that's going to be one of them. So they've got him out of the backfield a couple times, threw the ball to him for the first time there. Lost his lid, but it was okay. I mean, interesting to see the other ideas they have for Jamal Morrow.
6th play of the drive for Saskatchewan, trailing by 7. Dolegala downfield again, and that one broken up just in time by Will Sunderland.
You've seen a couple of those now. Emelis has got a catch on a very similar route, so this time Will Sunderland just sits on it. See, when you run the out as a receiver, you're trying to get the DB to turn his hips and believe that you might be going long. And that time Sunderland said, I'm staying with my back pedal. He closes underneath and gets the knockdown.
So 2nd and 10. 4 options. Wide side left for Dolegala. Pressure up the middle. They'll get there and take him down. Simone Lawrence, 4th sack of the season.
Well, you weren't wrong, though. It was up the middle, too. Katsatonis came on the safety blitz up the middle.
They picked that up, though, didn't they?
And they picked that up, and they brought Simone Lawrence off the edge, too. So you're going to see Lawrence come here and Katsatonis come there. Now, Morrow, number 25, steps up into the blitz from the safety. He takes the safety. There he is flashing. 25 takes him, and then from the edge comes Simone Lawrence.
Takes them out of field goal range of Lawther. Korsak set to kick it away again. The rookie from Rutgers, averaging just over 48 yards per punt this season. And he drops this one in just inside the 5. McAllister's got nowhere to go, and he is wrapped up after a 45-yard kick. Riders were driving, but the Ticats defense comes up big. Lawrence found a clear path to the quarterback, took him down. Talking a lot about the legendary George Reed today. How about 134 rushing touchdowns? The current running back, Jamal Morrow, has 5. He's got a long way to go, but there is a connection there. For more on that, let's send it down to Bridtor.
Yeah, not only did They both attend Washington State University. They're both running backs, and they both ended up with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Morrow told me that I knew who Reed was when I went to WSU, but when I came to Saskatchewan, I realized the caliber of who he was on and off the field. Back in 2019, Jamal was on the practice roster. He met George, and George told him, you just stay in there, continue to work hard, and when you get your opportunity, take advantage of it. He told me that's a conversation I'm going to remember for the rest of my life. After that emotional pregame ceremony, I went over to Morrow, and as you guys know, he's one of the happiest guys you'll ever meet in your life, and he said, woof, that one made me emotional.
I think there's a lot of emotions swirling around here today.
Well, and it was great to see Jamal Morrow come out of that tunnel carrying the George Reed flag, number 34.
Hamilton starts on their 6. Mitchell, pressure coming, gets it away, and to drop it into an open spot, and it falls incomplete. Was looking for Bayless once again, and working against the Saskatchewan defense.
Well, the front four should improve tenfold by the addition of Anthony Lanier, who missed 2 games due to injury, back, and not only back, but back inside at defensive tackle. First start of the year for TJ Brunson. This is an example of when you play great on the teams, you get a chance to start on defense, and they'll play Deontay Williams. They had Derek Moncrief play short side halfback in Vancouver and made that switch, and Moncrief will rotate into the linebacking core.
2nd and 10 for Hamilton. Mitchell with time this time, pressured from behind and just dumps it off. Riders are going to pick it up and take it into the end zone. And the officials look at each other and say incomplete pass, I believe.
Yeah. It looked like Bo Levi Mitchell was throwing it away, and you could throw it underhand.
Was he in his end zone when he did it, though? Because if that's... could be grounding, right?
Well, if it's incomplete, if it's an incomplete pass, it doesn't matter where he threw it from. So let's take a look. Here, you know, he steps up. He's got time initially. But as he climbs up in the pocket a little bit, he sees he doesn't want to check it down. So now if it's behind the line of scrimmage and there's no one around him, that's going to be intentional grounding. I'm not sure if James Butler was in the...
It is an incomplete pass.
The line of scrimmage on that play was the 6. It was a 6-yard line was the line of scrimmage.
It's considered a forward pass if it's underhand or pitch out or overhand, doesn't matter. As long as it's going forward, it's considered a forward pass. So not surprised with the incompletion. The question for me was there a back or a receiver anywhere close? Or did it cross the line of scrimmage? Because if it crossed the line of scrimmage...
It definitely did cross the line of scrimmage.
You don't need a receiver near it.
Because it bounced at the 4. The line of scrimmage was the 6.
So it was behind the line.
It was behind the line of scrimmage. I think there's more to come here on this call. Okay, let's figure out what the official ruling is going to be here.
On the previous play, there was intentional grounding. The ball was thrown from goal. Therefore, it will be a safety touch.
That's what we thought.
That's why. Yeah. You can throw it from back there, but there's got to be, if it doesn't cross the line of scrimmage, there's got to be a receiver or tailback.
In the end zone, right? So
here's the game angle, and I was looking for James Butler, who's right there, and is he close enough to this ball? They're saying no, and it didn't cross the line of scrimmage. Butler needs to be closer to the football.
He was about 7 yards away from it.
And that's not close enough. So then the penalty makes it a safety touch because he threw it from the end zone.
Interesting turn of events, and the Riders are on the board with the 2.
Jason Shivers knew immediately.
Took a little while for that one to get sorted out. But Saskatchewan does get the ball here after the 2 points on their own 42.5 to play in the first quarter. Handed off again up to about the 45-yard line. And trying to get Jamal Morrow going here early. The Riders averaging just 80 yards per game on the ground. That is 9th in the league. If you can really sort of set him loose. And it was funny that story was told about his special teams, because I remember watching these games and calling these games with you, and we were always, when he's on special teams, saying, yeah, this guy's going to have to play more at some point. Forced his way into the lineup.
That's how you get in there. Starting lineup. Play great on the teams.
They go back to him again, trying to find some space, lunging ahead. Held on to rather well from behind by Casey Sales. And they will bring out Pipkin and the big fellas.
Third and inches, which is not a guarantee. As the BC Lions found out last night, what a great game that was to watch.
A couple of critical moments in that game last night. This is third and just a matter of inches, and that'll be more than enough. As they push it straight ahead, first down for the Riders.
And Kelly Jeffrey calling the plays for Jake Dolegala, who is moving the ball from his own end to about midfield or just past it.
Yeah.
But that's where his drives have stalled in this first quarter. And give credit to the Hamilton defense. You know, their play over the last month has improved dramatically. They're 3-1 in the last month, and one of the reasons for that is they've settled in on defense.
4 receivers to the right for Dolegala. Back on the ground this time, nowhere to go. Sales, among others, there to stop him.
Well, Jagarrett Davis, he missed 8 games, so he's back. I mentioned Casey Sales, who's playing great over the last month, and Malik Carney's having himself an all-star type campaign. Good linebacking core that's been together. Their secondary is settled in now, so that front 7 looks real good.
Yeah, Dylan Wynn out there. Returning from injury, Dolegala gets us away just in time. Going up and hauling it in just outside the 40. That's excellent stuff from Schaefer Baker. And the drive stays alive for the Riders.
Great athletic move by Schaefer Baker. He goes up and just steals this football. Katsatonis is there to the left of your screen. The safety drops to that side, and the time was running out on Dolegala, but look at that. What a catch by Schaefer Baker. Ball behind him, 17-yard gain.
Dolegala throws one up for Emelis. Emelis almost had it. That would have been spectacular. Got his hands on it, but couldn't haul it in. Excellent defensive coverage on the play. We are just settling in for what should be a pretty darn good football game here at Mosaic. Bo Levi Mitchell and the Ticats on top. 7-2 on the road here on a Saturday on TSN. First quarter in the books here at Mosaic. The Riders trailing 7-2 against the Ticats. Big quarter for Tim White. He had 109 yards. That really stands out in that 129 yards passing for Bo Levi Mitchell so far in this football game. We got a good one, though.
Yeah, good game and an emotional night. It's interesting to see all the fans and the standing ovation for George Reed and his great legacy. We're tracking the yards after contact by these tailbacks because, I know we're still going to hear from them before it's over, but just an amazing foundational player. He and Ronnie were where it all began here in Rider Nation. And I want to mention the George Reed Legacy Fund that is now in combination with the Rider Fund to create funds for the Special Olympics and Mother Teresa Middle School here in Regina.
Just an excellent cause. Dolegala finds Bain over the middle.
Folks can donate there. There's going to be t-shirts for sale. There's some pins that we are wearing in his honor for sale, and go a long way to get some momentum for the guys wearing the green jerseys. And by the way, after 63 in that rookie season, everybody who's put that green jersey on, and I'm one of them, is standing on the shoulders of George Reed and Ronnie Lancaster.
As as you mentioned there, foundational pieces of what has become Rider Nation. 3rd and 1 from the Hamilton 32. They'll look to push ahead and pick up another first down. Or will they? They try to get it to Moore, and it's wrapped up immediately. What a read. Jameer Thurman eliminates it at the point of the handoff. Turnover on downs.
Discipline, discipline, discipline. Alignment, assignment, execution. And Jameer Thurman executes his responsibility to perfection. His responsibility is contain off the edge. Don't get fooled by the quarterback going behind center and looking like he's running the quarterback sneak. He stayed high. He waited for Morrow. He was patient. Big play. And the drive stalls again in plus territory.
Boy, if it would have worked, it would have looked pretty, though. He might have taken that one all the way. Thurman, though, denies it. They lost 7 on it. Now they'll take off. And this is Schultz into the game. When the quarterback took off, I'll just be transparent here. I was thinking, well, Bo's not in the game anymore because Schultz took off. Well, as he can do.
Yeah, this week Bo actually said that to us. We talked about how Matthew Schultz was going to play some tonight. I mean, Coach Steinhauer gave us that heads up that they're going to rotate Matthew Schultz into the game. I mean, the way he came off the bench and was slinging it and just playing instinctively last week gave him that opportunity. So Bo will watch a little bit, and we haven't seen the end of him tonight either.
225 yards and a couple of touchdowns. How about this? Staying on his feet is Butler, and he pushes ahead. That was a heavy pop, and he bounced right off it.
I'll tell you what, that was George Reed-like, wasn't it? And good on the Hamilton organization to put the decals for number 34 on the back of their helmets as well. And that is what George Reed was. Take those, absorb those hits, go in and attack and look for contact, and then get up and do it again the next down.
Well, Brunson was thinking, I got you, and then boom, you did not. Back on the ground again, but this time the Riders win the battle and wrap up Butler. Let's take a look at Schultz here.
Yeah, Matt Schultz coming back in now. This is 11 of 19, 225 yards and 2 touchdowns. When he came off the bench last week for Taylor Powell, and boy, I tell you, Taylor Powell has done a nice job in relief of both of these guys, Bo and Matt, for when they were injured. Bo Levi Mitchell couldn't say enough good things about Taylor Powell and his future, that looks like. But Matthew Schultz brings another different element. We saw that on his first snap when he got the edge and was running.
Working from the Rider 47. 3 receivers out to his right, 2 to the left. Takes the snap cleanly from the pocket, down the field, drops it in there beautifully to the 20, and eventually pushed out of bounds. Have yourself a game. Omar Bayless already has his first career touchdown in the first quarter. Another big chunk here.
Well, you got to believe the Riders secondary is looking more at Tim White and probably rolling a little coverage to that direction. So, hey, it may be Bayless's night. He's already got a couple. He's got his first touchdown. You can't throw it any better than Schultz dropped it into that coverage there. Watch Bo and Powell on that. Oh, yeah, nice shot.
I'm a big pen in the mouth guy as well. I like seeing Powell have that pen in the mouth, ready to work. 1st and 10 from the Riders 16. Empty backfield this time for Schultz, and he's going to hold it, take it right up the middle. Bounces off one tackle and takes it down to the Saskatchewan 10. A pickup of 6 yards for Matthew Schultz. Well, this is interesting territory here for the Ticats because they've only led after the first quarter 3 times all year.
Well, and this is one of the aspects of the offense that when you bring in Matt Schultz, you open up a different chapter of the playbook. You're not going to see Bo Levi Mitchell run that kind of play, and he's okay with that. His legacy is intact. Going from the pocket.
On the run to his left, has a man open, touchdown! Right back to Bayless, give him 2 on the day. And the Ticats extend their lead. Flag at the 15. What's the call?
That's going to be a late hit on the quarterback. Yeah.
Saskatchewan number 91. 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
How about Matthew Schultz coming in the game and just cutting it loose and playing instinctively, negotiating the pocket, buying a couple extra seconds. Here's the penalty and the late hit after the ball is thrown. A shoulder from Lanier.
And that is hammered home by Leggio. And the Ticats go on top 14-2. Bo Levi Mitchell and Schultz both finding Omar Bayless in the end zone. His first 2 career touchdowns have him on top. CFL Thanksgiving weekend continues on Monday with the Red Blacks and the Alouettes. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, a.m. in the morning, only on TSN. You know, if you have the Thanksgiving dinner on Sunday, that's turkey sandwich territory, that game, right?
Settling in with it. I think the turkey sandwich may be better tasting than the original turkey dinner that night.
I 100% agree with you. At one point in my career, I've done a sandwich draft, and the turkey sandwich did go in the first round. First round talent. After that extra penalty here, this one will be kicked directly into the end zone. Let's take another look at the touchdown.
Just a timing out, and if Schultz doesn't buy time here when he's going to manage the pocket, he doesn't get that open receiver in Bayless right over there by the cone. So just timing out, worked well, pulled all the coverage into the middle. Well, misdirection and play. Second touchdown for Bayless. But Schultz made the play by extending it.
Corner on that side of the field is William Poole, who's playing in his first CFL game, 24 years old. He was late getting to Bayless after the miscommunication there that Glennon talked about. Now they'll hand it off. And Morrow was waiting for something to open up, and it just never did.
That was a big tackle. That was just straight up lock horns type of play here. Good jump cut to the outside by Morrow, and then watch that hit. That's a DB and Kenneth George. 5'11", 203, stepping in there.
Rookie out of Tennessee, 35 tackles, couple of picks, 5 knockdowns coming into this game. 2nd and 8 for Dolegala. Looks to his right, in trouble, hit, the ball bounces ahead, and eventually hopping on top of it is Sean Bain. Now we wait for the ruling here. It looks like they're going to mark it at the 45. Let's take a look at what happened here.
Well, Dolegala's arm was going forward, but he hit his own lineman, who's getting bull rushed back into the pocket. And when he hit the lineman, that ball went down into the ground. That was Logan Furlan. So incomplete pass. It'll be.
Yeah, they originally marked it where Bain hopped on it, but
on the play. 3rd down.
Korsak out here after the incomplete pass. 9 minutes remaining in the second quarter. 2 points off intentional grounding safety from Bo Levi Mitchell was all the Riders have to show so far. Towering kick taken at the 16 by McAllister, brought back up the near side of the field after a 53-yard kick. Schultz coming back out for the Ticats on top. Welcome back to Mosaic Stadium. Tonight is Purolator Tackle Hunger Night here in Regina. Since 2003, Purolator, along with the CFL and its member clubs, Canadians like you have helped the Tackle Hunger program donate over 20 million pounds of food to local food banks. The need is greater now than ever. Just go to PurolatorTackleHunger.ca to donate. Great program all across the country.
Get your picture with the cup and Interesting that the 2013 Grey Cup champion Riders will be honored at halftime here as they go into the Plaza of Honor. And Darian Durant is back in the house. He's got the black hat on in the back there.
And watch on now as the Riders try to slow down the Ticats offensively. A short pickup here on first down. Hamilton's offense 8th in the league, just 21.8 points per game, but they put up 15 already here on Saturday.
Yeah, you know, the issue in this 4-game skid for the Riders has big time been in their secondary. I mean, they've had to go through a couple of changes. I mentioned Derek Moncrief playing the short side halfback. That's not the right position. Good on Moncrief for giving it his best, but that's not his position.
2nd and 7 here. Schultz over the middle, wide open. Godwin down the field to the 35, and eventually he's tracked down again, but nobody anywhere near Terry Godwin, and he goes for 39 yards.
And I mentioned Williams taking over for Moncrief and Poole that you talked about, Dustin, being the young guy and the rookie on the corner, and look how wide open Godwin is. I mean, This could become pitch and catch if the Riders secondary doesn't figure out who they got, alignment, assignment, and start executing.
It was Brunson who eventually got back there to take him down. Well over 200 yards passing in this half for the combination of Mitchell and Schultz. Down to the Saskatchewan 35. Schultz, a ton of time. Another man open just outside the 15. And this time they get Keandre Smith involved.
Well, this is what Jason Shivers now has to do. He has to play real vanilla-looking defenses. This is a cover 3 with a big hole in the middle, exactly where Schultz can see it, but they show it very early. They're all dropping into their zones, and look at that. In behind the linebackers, in front of the DBs, right in that soft spot in the cover 3 zone. If your guys aren't covering down the players and you're leaving wide open, you go into some more zone looks, basic looks.
Schultz is 5 for 5 for 115 yards and a touchdown. On the ground this time, Butler trying to find some space, and he will not get stopped shy of the Rider 5.
Yeah, I would suggest this next down, even though we're in the first half, is a big one for the Riders.
Long way to go here, but at the same time, want to stop the bleeding.
Well, yeah, it feels like all the momentum with Hamilton. They're having issues in the back end defensively, and go ahead and put another major on the board on this down. Feels like that snowball's rolling downhill, pretty gaining momentum.
3 options, wide side right for Schultz. Looks to his left, throws to his left, pushing towards the end zone and in. Sean Thomas Erlington. And the Ticats open it up big time here in the second quarter.
Red hot Matthew Schultz coming out of there and coming off the bench for Bo Levi Mitchell, who had a touchdown pass of his own, and that big one to Tim White. Oh, wow. Schultz is just running the offense. Spreading it around, spreading the targets.
Let's go. You know what time it is. Let's go.
First touchdown of the season for number 31 and the first 2 touchdowns of the career for Bayless. And Hamilton will tack on another one. Schultz, perfect so far. 6 for 6. A couple of touchdown passes already in this game. Welcome back to Mosaic, where they are honoring a 10-year anniversary for the 2013 Grey Cup champions. Still in the playoffs there. They won a thriller against BC and then basically rolled after that the Grey Cup MVP from 2013, Corey Sheets with Brittort.
Corey, you and your teammates have said it all week that 10 years later, it feels like nothing has changed amongst that group. What's it been like being back with everyone?
It's been so refreshing seeing everybody. And like you said, we get together and it's literally like we coming back into training camp or getting ready for a game. Nothing's changed with us. It's still being silly, still catching up with everybody and loving each other.
Well, it's one thing to win a Grey Cup. It's another to do it on home soil. What do you remember most about that night?
I mean, the sea of green. It really felt like a home game, and I felt like Hamilton didn't have a chance regardless of what we did on the field, just because Rider Nation was in full effect.
Well, thanks so much, Corey. Congrats 10 years later.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, things certainly went right in 2013, but they are not going right here tonight for the Riders. On the return, the Ticats kick this ball away from Mario Alford again. It's brought ahead by Hudon.
There was a fumble recovered,
and he fumbles it. The Ticats take over. That definitely was out before he was down.
Not only they take over in plus territory inside the 40. That ball bouncing around. And Nick Cross get it out. He punched it out of there.
So Hamilton gets the ball in just excellent field position with a 22-2 lead. Coming into this game, Hamilton had the most turnovers. They've turned the ball over the most, but the Riders have the worst turnover ratio in the league. So both these teams have been sloppy with the ball so far this season. Riders more so here tonight. Now they'll dump it out into the flats. And moving ahead for a first down for Hamilton is Butler.
Well, Brett talked to Corey Sheets about, obviously, this big moment in the Grey Cup. A Grey Cup record with 197 yards rushing in the championship game. There was one play earlier on where Darian Durant was running with the ball, fumbled it, it bounced up in the air, Sheets picked it up and went for 40-45, and apparently Henry Burris, who was the starting quarterback for Hamilton at the time, turned to his teammates and went, uh-oh, this is going to be a long night.
Not our night tonight. Now they'll hand it back off to Butler again.
Tom Hanks and Martin Short, of course, were in the audience that night. They were in Taylor Field. Last championship game there before the move to Mosaic Stadium. And that 2013 team is in the house tonight. Be honored at halftime. We'll have some of that for you in the second half.
Brought the Grey Cup out before the game. Before this year's team ran onto the field. Place was buzzing. Trying to regain that buzz here for the Ticats. They just simply have other ideas. Fourth trip to the red zone already for Hamilton. Schultz in trouble, throws it away, and that one intercepted. Larry Dean's got his second of the year, and finally something to build on for the home side.
Wow, boy, do the Riders need that. And I think Matthew Schultz was trying to throw that ball away, and he just didn't get enough on it. He's just to the right of your screen, Larry Dean, and not surprising, it's number 11 who gives the Riders the play that they need to maybe spark this team to start really getting after it and competing here tonight, because Dean has had a heck of a season.
Follow me.
I mean, he has not been a problem.
He's Mr. Everything for the Riders defense. He has 49 more tackles than the next closest player on that defense this year. That's how good of a year Dean is having. He's closing in on another 100 tackle season, which would be his third and make him only the 7th player in league history to do it. There was a flag right at the end of the play, after the play, which is what they're sorting out here.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Hamilton number 13. Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan number 45. Both fouls upset. First down, Saskatchewan.
Pete Robertson, Osakusi, who got flagged there. Well, you kind of had to have that, didn't you, for the Riders?
You know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they need a spark, and they got it from Larry Dean. Now they can they capitalize on it?
Got to take advantage of it. This drive will start on their own 16. Dolegala looks to the left, throws in that direction, and has a completion into the hands of Stearns for the first time today.
Dolegala's been facing some pressure from that front four, and occasionally when Ticats go with the blitz. They're not just sending one, but they'll send Simone, safety. Hot reads are going to be important for Dolegala.
They need 6 more after 4 to Stearns. Morrill will flare out to his right. They'll look to the far side. And that pass was caught, but Leonard was there immediately, right in his face. And it'll be 3rd and 3 as we hit 3 minutes here in Regina.
We have an electrifying halftime coming your way. First up, we have Dave Naylor putting away his coffee cup. Second, we've got Bo Levi Mitchell with 1 quarter of work. We're going to break down what's going wrong with Saskatchewan. I'm pretty sure Jim Barker brought in some pumpkin pies.
Pumpkin pies?
That's tomorrow.
Oh, man.
Is that homemade? Got to be homemade if you're bringing it in for the crew, I would think.
I'm guessing Milt doesn't eat any of the pumpkin pie. That's going to be my wager for tonight.
Korczak stands at about his 10, lets it fly. Just a second to and out of the game for the Riders. McAllister will run under this, takes it at the 45. 42-yard kick. McAllister, little stumble there, and he's wrapped up just shy of the 50. And Schultz will trot back out here. He's 7 of 8, 139 yards, 2 touchdowns and that pick. Bo Levi started the game 4 of 6 for 129 and a touchdown himself.
Yeah, I think if you're Hamilton, you're going in at halftime. Obviously, you love what the scoreboard says, but also you got a red-hot quarterback playing right now. Bo looked good in his quarter or a few series off the top.
That's probably it for Bo now. I know we talked how they might go back and forth, but
well, you know, I think if you've seen what you need to see from him,
and if he feels pretty good about it,
then yeah, Matthew Schultz can stay in the game.
Start on their own 50. Butler finding some space and look at him go down to the 50 all the way to the 45 before they stop him, and that puts him over 40 yards on the ground on 8 carries.
Well, he has really come on in the back half, really when Scott Milenovich took over, and mentioned he's not here tonight. Wish the best for Scott, and he's whatever he's going through with his family, but what James Butler made himself skinny to get around that corner. Hamilton could still host a playoff game. This is a big game for them.
Trying to track down the Montreal Alouettes. They did lose twice to Montreal this year. They also play each other in the final game of the season. So that's kind of exciting. Butler is 14 yards away from a 1,000-yard season.
This isn't going to help the Riders secondary at all. Amari Henderson looks like the injured player. Moncrief looking at it because for Jason Shivers, Derek Moncrief is his get-out-of-jail-free card, as he calls him, because he can play almost any position on defense. Now, he had a couple of issues in the BC game playing that short side halfback. That was a difficult assignment for a very good football player in Moncrief, but you have to juggle him around. That's Dahlke getting the instructions there. So Rivas could also play in the secondary.
On TSN.
That's good news. It's like Amari Henderson's going to be okay. Onyeka can come out.
When you look at how the safety's been this year, would you say Henderson's been the brightest spot, maybe? I mean, Dahlke's been great, too. Missed a few games.
Yeah, I would say most consistent.
Yeah, okay,
yeah,
that's a good one,
most consistent in the back end. Yeah, absolutely.
Just over 2 minutes remaining in the opening half. Hamilton has the ball in a 20-point lead. Riders lost 4 in a row. Butler again, and he'll pick up about 4 yards on that carry.
Now with a nice lead, Mike Gibson will be going a lot more on, especially on first down, to number 9, who is just a handful of yards, about 10 yards away from a 1,000-yard season.
Join the likes of Brady Oliveira and Kevin Brown, who are already there. Schultz throwing this time. Has a man at the 35. And again, getting involved here today, Thomas Erlington, and there's a flag that's been thrown on the far side of the field around the Rider 25.
Major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan number 38, 15-yard penalty, and a first down.
Well, that's one of the guys we were just talking about, former U of A Golden Bear, Jaden Dalkey.
Yeah, this is just a wrong decision by Dalkey here. He's not involved with the tackle, and yet takes a shot on Deontay Smith.
Unnecessary at the best of times, but certainly not a good look when you trail by 20. Back to Butler. Wrapped up immediately, pushed ahead for a few more. Caleb Sanders on the tackle, making his CFL debut out of South Dakota State.
Now it looks to me like Derek Moncrief right now is out there at the wide side halfback spot. And Revis is staying in at Sam. So there's Moncrief to the right of your screen.
Saskatchewan.
Again, an outstanding linebacker and tremendous athlete. So I understand why Shivers is thinking that, you know, he can go in there, but there's a lot of space in those halfback spots. You be a great DB to even, you know, hold your own at the best of times sometimes, because that's where the best receivers usually are. The Tim Whites of the opposition play in those slot positions. So
well, BC targeted him a few times.
Absolutely.
Last week.
Yeah, and you're going to have to show. And Onyeka's young, again, having a good year on the teams, but see.
2nd and 7 from the Riders 16. Schultz already a couple of touchdown passes in this game, looking for a third, and that one way out of bounds. Never a chance there, and it falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
That was the side that Schultz went right after. They're going to have Schultz roll out to this side, and on that side you had Derek Moncrief, who was playing deep like a DB, and underneath was Onyeka, Kosi Onyeka. They were there and the ball was thrown out of bounds. You're right. Not sure if Schultz just didn't like what he saw and decided to throw it away or not.
Looked like that, didn't it, with where that ball ended up dropping down. Laggio will roll out here, 84.6% on the season. Coming into tonight, 29 of 30 from within 40 yards. And he pounds this one through. Hamilton on top, 25-2. Riders were moving the ball relatively well early in this game, but it's dried up a little bit since.
Yeah, they moved it from their own end to just past center.
Yeah, they punted from about the 50 a couple of times.
Exactly. I think there was a total of 3 of them, and it was because Hamilton defensively were making those plays on 2nd down. Yeah, I guarantee you that Milt Steagle's not having a bit of that pumpkin pie.
You know who else doesn't like pumpkin pie? Me.
Oh, come on.
I know. I know. Sorry, I don't do it, man. I don't eat pumpkin pie. Call me anti-Thanksgiving.
Wow.
But I prefer, give me an apple pie and some ice cream, Suits. Apple crisp to send the truck. Apple anything, just not pumpkin. I also don't like, I do it as a parent because I'm a good dad, but I don't like scoop. Actually, I don't. I lied. My wife scoops out all the guts of the pumpkin when we're doing jack-o'-lanterns.
Yeah.
I don't even do that.
You don't do that?
It grosses me out.
What about pumpkin seeds? You don't bake the pumpkin seed?
I hate them too.
Oh, roasted pumpkin seed. Come on.
Yeah, don't even get me started on that pumpkin spice latte, right? Now, right up the middle. And that'll be a 1st down for Jamal Morrow.
Still time here in the first half for Dolegala to get it in at least field goal range and try and stop the downhill roll of this. Although I guess I shouldn't be saying snowball rolling downhill. Not tonight. What a beautiful day weather-wise we're getting.
21 degrees at kickoff. Far side of the field. They like to do that quite often. Dolegala gets Emelis on that out. He's able to haul it in. Yeah, I was worried that it might need a jacket rolling out here this weekend, but not the case. Beautiful night to be here watching a football game. I could somehow punch this into the end zone in the next minute. That would go a long way. Back on the ground. Morrow, good burst. First down for the Riders. Jamal Morrow, that'll put him over 40 yards here in the first half.
Well, we talked to Craig Dickinson and told us about how the entire team were mourning along with the fans, George Reed, and the passing of George Reed this week. Maybe it's taken a little out of them as that first sort of, when you come out of the gate, we saw the energy when they came out of the tunnel, and we saw that first kickoff that went down and real physical, but it looked like there's a real lull here in the second quarter that the coach is going to have to remedy when he goes in there at halftime and talk to him about, hey, if you want to honor the legacy, then play hard every down, because that's what George did.
Well, we talked right off the top, this is a huge game for both of these teams. Hamilton looking to try to track down the Alouettes, and the Riders trying to snap this 4-game losing streak. Good timing on that pass from Dolegala, and he finds Bain to make it 3rd and 1 with 47 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the spot to see if it's a long one, almost 2, or is it... And they're going to go. It's almost 2 yards. I might take the points here.
Need the 30 for a first down. They'll hand it off. They got the 30 and more. Nice cut. Jamal Morrow down to the 10. He's thinking end zone. Touchdown Riders. Jamal Morrow 32 yards to give Saskatchewan life late in the first half.
Absolutely does it give them life. Best run of the night for Morrow. Maybe one of the most important to regular season for a team that's trying to find a spark to bring them back and get that energy back. Start the second half with a major. I still like the idea. I still think you take the points there.
They got the points.
But they got the bigger play, and that's great for the Riders. They needed it badly.
Lawther out. Try to make this a 16-point ball game, but there's multiple flags on this one.
Jamal mentioning George Reed.
Left in the half, as you mentioned, Jamal Morrow mentioning number 34.
Players, Hamilton, by rule, that penalty cannot be enforced since the convert is good.
What timing on the first touchdown of the game for the Riders, and of course it's the running back Jamal Morrow capping off an 8-play, 70-yard drive.
That was so cool, Dustin, when he had the George Reed flag coming out of the gate. 71 yards rushing for Jamal Morrow. His last game was back mid-September.
Certainly a big piece to get him back out here. And we'll see if the Riders can try to build on this in the third quarter. Hamilton is 6-1 when leading at the half. McAllister back up to the 30, just shy of the 40 when they eventually take him down. Onyeka in on that tackle. Schultz will trot back out here one more time. He's at 147 and a couple of touchdowns so far in this game.
George Reed could do this too now. He could take the ball. Now remember, he was listed on the depth chart as a fullback. So it did a lot of blocking in the passing game, but you give him a little space and George Reed could
some hard
run
yards
by you.
there.
Oh, yeah. He could run by it.
28 seconds. Flags fly as they hand it off. And back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a couple yards past is Butler.
Well, that play, though, and that drive that went 8 plays and 70 yards, capped off by that Morrow run. I mean, that's the concern for Steinauer. He's going to go back and, look at the first quarter and the stops they were making and go back to some of those calls. But for the Riders, very different halftime feel. Like that locker room completely changes on one play.
Now there's some spark, right?
No end. Number 59, Hamilton, was closing the line. That penalty's decline. It will be second down.
However, for Craig Dickinson, he's going to have to sort out that back end on defense. I mean, there were some drives where Matthew Schultz was finding open receivers by 20, 30 yards.
Yeah.
So you have to shore up the DBs.
Yeah, if there's any sort of comeback in the second half, let's be honest, it's going to have to start somehow with a defense for the Riders that has been giving up on average 36 points per game over their last 7 games. They've given up at least 29 in 7 in a row, win or lose. And they've given up 25 here in the first half of this ball game.
Yeah, I don't think you can expect, if you're Craig Dickinson, Jake Dolegala to score 40 points a game to win when he's in start number, 8 of his career.
Kind of unreasonable expectations, you would think.
Exactly.
What a first half for the Ticats, who have won 4 of their last 6. The only 2 losses to the provincial rivals in Toronto, as Orlando Steinauer and his team try to make another late season push. Mar Bayless has 2 touchdowns in this game, the first 2 of his career. Let's send it down to Brittorff.
Omar, you don't just get your first career touchdown, you go out there and get a second one. How are you feeling about that first half?
I'm just feeling great, just thankful for my coaches putting me in a position to make those plays, and that's all we just talk about every day, like just make your play, and that's what they brought me here to do, so that's all I do.
Speaking of your coaches, they said this week, just because you've clinched playoffs doesn't mean the job's even close to being finished yet. You guys have come out here tonight, got a commanding lead. How do you keep that going in the second half?
We just got to stay consistent, man, and just finish how we started. That's all. That's the main thing. Just keep going and never just get relaxed, in this type of game, because it's easy, because we up, you know what I'm saying, whatever we up. So we just got to keep our foot on the gas pedal and just make it happen.
All right, well, thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Send it back to Keith and the panel.
All right, Britt, back alongside Dave Naylor, Jim Barker, Milt Stiegel, right in the middle of Thanksgiving weekend. I hope everyone's having a lovely holiday so far. And so far for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, it hasn't gone according to plan. We spoke about this pregame. There's a lot of emotion in this building tonight. They're currently honoring the 2013 Saskatchewan Roughrider team, and they have come out flat, albeit a very nice ending, a nice touchdown to end the quarter there, but overall an uninspiring performance so far, Dave.
Yeah, in front of a crowd that's very excited by the honoring of George Reed. And look, this is a meaningful game for the Riders. They've lost 4 in a row. This is an opportunity for them to get back into it. But look, we're going to touch on the defense in a moment, but just offensively, I mean, this is a team that has struggled to run the ball all year, and you see an example here, the turnover on downs. Their first 5 series are 4 punts and a turnover on downs. That one was fed right into Jameer Thurman, and look, they get a turnover of their own later in the game. Jake Delegala's got a big arm. There's a 4-yard pass across the field left. The next play, 4-yard pass across the field right in a game that they're trailing by 20 points. I mentioned the run game. Jamal Morrow was 8 for 26 before that final drive before halftime. They finally get him going. He bounces that one off tackle for 33 yards. That's more than he had on that one run there than he had in his the first 28 minutes of that game. So Boy, Saskatchewan's offense, it doesn't make a lot of sense when you see you got that big arm quarterback back there and they're not able to see. He's obviously not seeing the field because he's not throwing it vertically.
This team is playing for so much. We talk about the hype fans there. We talk about honoring the 2013 team. We talk about honoring the legendary George Reed. We talk about them playing for a playoff spot and what they need to do. But they're also playing for their jobs. I'm going to tell you something that I know. When a team starts losing, they talk about firing the GM, the president, and the head coach. And when the new GM, president, and head coach comes in, what do? They bring in new players. They clean house. So these guys better understand what's going on. You're playing for a lot, but you're also playing for your job. You have a great opportunity this week to win this game. You lose this game, I'm guaranteeing you Calgary next week is going to come in hype, ready to go and saying, we got a chance to make the playoffs. Yes, we've only won 4 games, but now you're giving us hope. So these guys got to come out in the second half and try to find a way to get some energy from all these things that they've created in this first half.
Well, speaking of hope, I spoke before the game how I felt like Bo Levi starting was to give these Tiger Cats some hope, and boy, did he answer the call. He came out on fire. He found Tim White out on the outside to the right, and then he found Tim Wright down the middle. 109 yards in the first half on 2 catches for Tim White. A perfect throw by Bo Levi. Then when they get down near the goal line, again, this is typical Bo Levi when he was at his best. Timing. He's got a little corner post route, and again, perfect timing and a perfect throw. This team is going to believe now that if they can get that Bo Levi throwing with that kind of time, they're going to be just fine, and they're going to be excited about it. So, they got Butler involved. He had 51 yards. So again, Mike Gibson, great job filling in for Scott Milanovich, and I felt they carried their game plan out perfectly.
Really quickly, surprised he didn't play more than the first quarter?
I thought he might play longer, but again, they have their reasons for, we don't know the insides and outsides, and Schultz came in and threw 2 tubs.
Exactly. And you know what? Either way, you have confidence because you saw both for the quarter and he looked fantastic. I'm sure that will just build as we go through the next couple of weeks. Coming up after the break, it's the debate you've all been waiting for. Who is our MOP?
That's a big-time play from a big-time player, 88 yards. Bo Levi to Tim White to the end zone. Touchdown, Hamilton. Drops it in there for Omar Bayless. On the run to his left. Has a man open. Touchdown. Right back to Bayless. Give him 2 on the day. Throws to his left. Pushing towards the end zone and in. Sean Thomas Erlington.
Just in case you wanted more CFL football during the Thanksgiving long weekend, we've got it for you. We've got the Red Blacks and the Alouettes with a special pregame, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific. As mentioned, Jim Barker will be cooking us Thanksgiving dinner. Can't wait for that one, Coach. As we mentioned,
I don't even like pumpkin pie.
Get off the panel. Get off the panel right now. Get off the panel.
I don't know about it.
Don't like pumpkin pie. What is wrong with you, man? Now you're cutting into our MOP talk. Last night, we saw Chad Kelly, Brady Oliveira, Vernon Adams, and Zach Collaros, the top 4 candidates for the award. Milt Stiegel, who was your pick?
Brady-O, what he's done and what he can continue doing in these last 2 games has been spectacular. He's like at 1,900 total yards, 11 touchdowns. And I know Chad is right there. Quarterbacks are always the favorite. But if he can get over 2,000 yards and 13, 14 touchdowns as a running back in the CFL, that says a lot. So it's definitely Brady Oliveira for me.
Well, for me, it's Chad Kelly. He took a team that went 11-7 last year. Same basic players on offense. He's lost Curly Gittins for a lot of the year, but the line's the same, the backs are the same. And he's taken them, and in games he's played 51% of the snaps. He's 13-0, 13-0. He has not lost a game in games that he has played. To me, it's being the outstanding player is making everybody around you better than they were. And obviously, he has made this team better.
Didn't he take some snaps against Calgary? And they lost that game, Coach.
51%.
All right, okay.
If he took 51% of the snaps.
I didn't hear you, Coach. You don't have to yell at me, Dad. Man.
Yeah.
last night was a big night for the MOP to me because we know the importance of that BC-Winnipeg game. And to me, going into it, I thought Brady Oliveira might be the difference maker. And he had 158 yards rushing and receiving. It's basically about 50-50 on that. Vernon Adams didn't have a great game in the second half. Zach Collaros turned the ball over. I think there's an argument here for Brady Oliveira. To me, it's Brady Oliveira in the West, and yes, Chad Kelly and nobody else in the East. But Brady Oliveira is going to be playing meaningful football down the stretch. I think you can make an argument for him, certainly as one of the most consistent players in the league, if not the very best as well. I'm going to be the tiebreaker on this one. I'm also going with Chad Kelly. There you go, Coach. I agree. Going from 11-7 last year, you got pretty much the exact same lineup. Everyone around him is better. It's kind of what we do on the panel, right? We elevate everyone's game.
Elevating. That's the key.
Except for Stiegel.
What?
Poor Stiegel. We'll be back with stats. 16-point lead for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. What stands out, Mills Stiegel?
276 passing yards in the first half. Saskatchewan has to do a better job stopping the pass game. But for them, they got some momentum with the running game. Jamal Moore did a great job, I think, in the second half because it's still early. They have to come out and find a way to get him the ball early and often, and maybe they can come back and win this game.
Hopefully a much better half for the Riders. A great ceremony, by the way, still going on at Mosaic for the 2013 team being inducted into the Plaza of Honor. Back to Mosaic for second half action right after this.
Welcome back to Mosaic, where the Ticats lead the Riders 25-9. That is 34 combined points on George Reed night in the first half, which is quite something. Jamal Morrow was a big part of that. He's with our Brittort.
Jamal, what was your coach's message at the half here?
We got to go out here and win the game. And at the end of the day, we got to go ahead and put two halves of great football together and execute and do what we need to do to win this game.
Well, you did get a touchdown, give a little bit of a spark to your team at the half. I don't know if you noticed, 34 seconds on the clock left when you had that one. What did that do for this team going in here in these final two quarters?
That was big. We know at the end of the day we needed points to go ahead and score, and so it's on us to go ahead and to finish the second half right. And we know 3-4 is over watching us.
Thanks so much, Jamal.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So they're now 25-9, but still a lot of time to keep Morrow involved in this offense.
Right? Oh, yeah. And their best player on offense in the first half, and that big finish for Morrow, and he knows that if you believe in that, George is up there watching and wants to do him proud. So we'll see what they got in the second half and what adjustments they make.
Morrow in that first half, 75 yards. 11 carries, had the touchdown. Dolegala was 11 of 17 for 100 yards. No interceptions for Dolegala. Schultz had one on the other side. The Riders, who won the toss earlier in the game and deferred, will get the ball here to start the third quarter. Let's see if they can build on that late first half momentum. Once again, kicking it away from Mario Alford, but they've got Stearns back there on the return, and Stearns will take it out just shy of the 40 on the return. Here's a look at Morrow's first half.
Yeah, so 34 seconds when he scores just at the end of the half. 34 seconds left. We have a combined total points in the first half of 34 points. And Morrow, with inspired play, has 58 of his 75 yards after contact. George Reed, number 34.
He's grinding. Don't need him big here in the half. That's where they start. And he's trying to find some space. Eventually, he's wrapped up and thrown down by Jagarrett Davis. That was a hard 2 yards for Morrow as he tried to string it out, but Davis would have none of it.
Solid player that just goes to the Grey Cup every year. So
decent resume, I guess, eh?
Well, better than solid. All-star defensive end.
In year number 7 in the league. Dolegala got that away just in time. Heat was coming, and he has a completion up to midfield to Sean Bain.
Yeah, he needed a fastball here to get it to Bain, who's in that slot back spot because there's a linebacker dropping back there, or was it Jagarrett? I think it was. Yeah, it was Jagarrett Davis that dropped back into the coverage.
4 receivers out to the right. He'll go to the left, and that is in behind the intended target of Emilus. Could not stop in time. Looking like he might have slipped a little bit trying to reach back for that. That'll bring up second down here, and we're right in that midfield area. where we did see them struggle a bit.
Jagarrett Davis has been involved in every play so far. He comes off the edge here, and he's going to get his hand on that. That's why it was redirected in behind the target.
Midfield for the Riders. Tolegala once again quickly gets it away to the 50 and no further, as he goes to Picton for 6 yards. Picton's second catch of the ball game.
I think one of the Tolegala adjustments at halftime was to make your decision quicker. We've seen in that series right there, even though this series stalls, again, about the same place. They were stalling in the first quarter, as you mentioned, but he looked like in that series, 3 or 4 throws, he was trying to get process quicker.
McAllister waits for this kick. Corsak's dropped a couple of nice ones inside the 5 already, and he'll attempt to do that again. This one will come down right at the 10, and it hits.
Wow.
Hits the pylon.
Saying it's a single. As soon as it touches that, it's considered in the end zone.
Almost bounced it out right in front of it, didn't he? But when we return, that man right there, Darian Durant, will be with our Britt Dord as they celebrate the 2013 championship. Well, let's take another Grey Cup flashback look here at the work of Darian Durant back in 2013. 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. That's one of 2 that went to G-Roy Simon. Right now, Darian Durant is with Britt Dord.
Yeah, with the legend himself, Darian, we saw the crowd get on their feet for you at halftime there. I've seen the number of autographs you're signing here tonight. What's it meant to you to come back to Rider Nation?
It's amazing. You know, you don't realize what you accomplish in the moment sometimes. So to get back and reflect on everything, and you know, you realize how huge of a deal what we accomplished was. It's amazing.
Your teammates talked about the run that year, the West semifinal against BC, where they said, "Thank you, Darian, for that performance." Then you went on to face Calgary. What point in the season and what point in the playoff run did you realize we have a team that's going to do this?
We always felt like we had a team that could compete, but you know, once we got in the playoffs and we were able to have that home game, and we were able to see how well we played during that run, we knew once we got into the Grey Cup in front of our fans, we knew we were going to take care of business.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Darian. Go enjoy some more autographs out there.
Thank you so much.
Pretty confident coming into that one, weren't they?
Well, great to see Darian back, and I'll tell you what, I don't know that in my time in the game, both as a player and a former player and as a broadcaster, that I've seen a better run postseason than Darian Durant at the quarterback position. You look at the 8 touchdowns versus not 1 interception. He rushed for 141 yards in that West semi, 91 yards in the 4th quarter, put the team on his back to win that close game. Quarterback efficiency rating, 145 on average for 3 games in the postseason. The maximum you can get is 158.3. He was 145 over 3 games. I mean,
that'll win you a Grey Cup.
Yeah, that will get you a Grey Cup. That's exactly right.
Six yards for a quarterback on the run that time. It was Schultz. And they got a good number of guys back from that team here tonight. Both sides of the ball. Like to celebrate a win here. Long way to go. Schultz dumps it off. Butler's got room. He's got a first down, now down to the 30. Look at Butler go again. And he takes it inside the 20.
James Butler just blew the doors off a 1,000-yard season. Well, that was a quick swing pass, but I was going to say that it wasn't behind the line of scrimmage. No, it wasn't. It was a screen pass up front, so that'll go down as a reception. But great acceleration for James Butler, hitting it hard.
And when he goes, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, better have the angle on number 9.
Because sometimes you'll see a guy move from one team where he has success to another team, and it doesn't necessarily click. But he put up 1,000 last year, and he's going to hit 1,000 this year as well. Maybe he'll do it right here. He needs 4. That'll do it. 1,000-yard season for Butler as he pushes it down inside the 15. Back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns for James Butler.
Yeah, that's the milestone they want to hit. You got to get to that 1,000 yards. You had a successful season. But you start thinking about now Matthew Schultz in combination like the panel talked about with Bo Levi Mitchell, a solid running game that they're committed to now and have been through the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. And receivers like Tim White, Terry Godwin, seems like a completely different team than the one that started the year.
Well, this is the team that this is the time of year you want that team.
No question.
Hard, right? Looks like that's happening for Hamilton. Well, Suits, the Butler did it again, didn't he? 1,000 yards back-to-back seasons.
Well, you know, in BC, when he had that great year last year, and we were all looking at it to start the season when Hamilton started with 3 losses. And after the Edmonton game where he had 127 or something like that rushing, and then they went away from the run game in Butler and then lost 2 of 3.
Yeah.
You know, you just started to get what's going on and why can't they use James Butler a little bit more? And they had the last month and a half, and the wins are starting to add up.
Yeah, the only losses to the Argos. Now back to Butler again, up the middle. Might as well just keep feeding him. And he takes it down inside the 10 for a first down.
Just focused in. I mean, great tailbacks keep their eyes straight ahead and forward. No matter where the run play is going, you don't want to tip off the defense by looking at the hole you want to hit. So he was locked in, looking right behind the center in David Beard, and just goes up and gets a handful of tough yards up the middle.
Gets his team that first down. Fresh set here from the 8. 6th play of the drive for Schultz and company. Back to the running back again, and this time bounced off a couple of tackles, but they were there to wrap him up. Jackson Ford helping finish the job.
Yeah, Pete Robertson had him 4 or 5 yards in the backfield. Takes that handoff. Look at that spin move to get away from that tackle. Just try to get right back to the line of scrimmage at the very least.
Brunson in on that one as well. Team leading 4th tackle of the game for Brunson. Second and goal from the 7. 3 options to the left for Schultz. McAllister moves out to his right now into the slot. Schultz gets it away. Incomplete. Was looking for White. Maybe a little low, and Tim couldn't come up with it.
Had to rush the throw because he couldn't block them all. There was a free guy off the edge. I believe it was A.J. Allen who came free. There he is. No, it was Rivas. 32 or 22, not 32. And because of that blitz that he knew, Matthew Schultz knew he couldn't block that blitz. So he had to get out of there quickly, and just a little bit low and away.
Just the 3rd incompletion of the game for Schultz. Leggio back out 1 for 1 tonight. Knocked one in from 23. This one will be from 14 to put the Ticats on top by 18. And Leggio makes no mistake. Hamilton was driving again, this time on a beautiful night at Mosaic. Had to settle for 3. Time now for our Coors Light moment of chill, and Jamal Morrow started the game by running out carrying that 34 flag in honor of George Reed. And then with 34 seconds left in the half, Suits, he did this.
Riders needed a spark big time, and he provided it now. Ticats have gone down there and put 3 on the board again, so they've added to the lead, and Dolegala's got a match. But Morrow's doing his thing.
Butler on the other side. Excellent as well. 67 on the ground, 63 through the air. Midway through the 3rd quarter, Riders offense got to get clicking. This time the ball doesn't even come out. There's tackle flags all over the place.
Legal procedure, Saskatchewan. Number 53, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Philip Blake.
Third straight start for big Philip Blake in his 8th year in the Canadian Football League. 3 with Saskatchewan and off the injured list and playing that left guard spot. 1st and 15.
Dolegala gets this one away. Back to close to the original line of scrimmage for Stearns, who had his first CFL 100-yard game last week. He and Schaefer Baker both hitting the 100-yard mark against the BC Lions in that 400-yard passing game for Dolegala. And those aren't even two of the guys who are on pace for 1,000 yards. They got the 8th, 9th, and 10th in the receiving leaders in the league on this roster as well. Dolegala in trouble, and he will be scooped up and taken down by the Ticats. Diallo leading the charge.
Great show blitz here from the Hamilton defense to show like the pressure's going to come from the interior and then not go there. They want to show here like it's linebacker blitz, and then they bail out and they bring a blitz off the edge. So this is where your offensive line has got to be sharp, because they showed it in the interior. It looked like it was going to be a blitz coming up the middle. That didn't happen. They dropped out and the blitz came off the edge.
Craig Dickinson is chatting with the officials.
Saskatchewan is challenging the previous play for roughing the passer. The play will be reviewed.
Was there contact on Jake's head when he tried to duck under that pressure? Here's another look at it. Big decision coming up. Well, here's another look at it. Dolegala, Edwards comes in, Dolegala goes down. There's some head contact there. Let's get the ruling.
Upon review by the command center, there was roughing the passer. Hamilton number 24, 15-yard penalty, and a first down.
What the command center has to determine here is whether or not this constitute a blow to the head. It can be incidental contact that brushes by the head. That's okay. They won't overturn it there. But according to the command center on this play, Chris Edwards, it was a blow to the head as Dolegala ducked to try and get underneath it.
And upon further review of my notes, Craig Dickinson has won a challenge for the first time this season. Now they'll hand it off. Look at that cut. Straight ahead. First down, Riders. 11 more yards for Jamal Morrow.
Well, and that's another new set of downs. So a second life, the Rider offense was off the field, and that overturning of the call and the challenge by Craig Dickinson gets him into plus territory. 5 yards from field goal range.
Spin move back to the line of scrimmage. Maybe even a small loss on the play. That time, Ticats defense in the backfield immediately.
Yeah, they'll bring Malik Carney. They'll bring off the edge Chris Edwards. We've seen that a couple times. Jameer Thurman, I believe that was Katsatona. So Kelly Jeffrey trying to figure out, okay, if that's what Mark Washington wants to do and start sending linebackers, we do the quick crossers over the middle. That's where they just left.
Figure out who they're bringing.
It's a chess match, man. It's a chess match. Pawn to King 4.
2nd and 11. Dolegala.
There it is.
Has a completion. It's Stearns, and he's got a first down for the Riders. Jareth Stearns with his 4th catch of the ball game. That one, his longest of the night.
Yeah, if you're going to have the linebackers hugging the line of scrimmage, then there should be room right over the middle, because that's where the linebackers usually line up. Kelly Jeffries goes right to that area.
First and 10 from the Ticat 32. Riders looking to work their way back into this ball game. Pressure on Dolegala, has to get rid of it, and that falls incomplete. right in his face. It's Diallo once again, I believe.
Yeah, and it looks like when you take a look at this alignment that Hamilton is going with 3 down linemen, then adding a linebacker to the rush. It was Diallo that provided the pressure and forced that. I think he did deliberately threw it out of bounds. Save the loss. 94 is setting up a tent in the backfield.
2nd and 10. They'll give it to the running back, and he is taken down immediately. Casey Sales all over him, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
You know, this play is a good one if you can get the D line up the field a little bit further. And Jameer Thurman looked like he was sniffing it out, a bit of a stunt up the middle, but stepping right in there is Sales, right in the gap. So Jamal Morrow now has to bounce it. Once you bounce it, you allow everyone to rally to the tackle.
Lawther from 42 yards. And a no-doubter to pull the Riders within 15. Let's take a look at what Schultz has done in the 2nd quarter, the last couple of games.
Wow, you take a look at that Calgary game. He went 6 for 10, 195 yards, 2 touchdowns. Came out tonight, completed 80% of his passes, 147 for 2 touchdowns. So basically, you know, well over 300 yards in those 2 quarters coming off the bench. Not to mention the fact that Bo Levi Mitchell started strong, and Orlando Steinauer has probably seen pretty encouraged by the 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah, Bo went 4 of 6 for 129 yards and a touchdown before just taking the rest of the night off. It's interesting coming in to this game. I mentioned to you before the game. Hamilton led after the 1st quarter here, 7-2. In the 1st quarter this season, they've been outscored 101-37. They have not been a good starting team this year, so they have to be happy with what they saw from Bo early and then Schultz in the 2nd quarter and beyond.
Flip that script quickly.
2nd and 11 here. Overall in the game, Schultz is 191 yards, a couple of touchdowns and an interception that looked like he was trying to throw away, but just didn't get enough of it. Working from their own 39. Pressure from the Riders right up the middle. Schultz gets it away, and he's got a completion to Godwin. Godwin turns it upfield, takes it down inside the 45, and that'll put Schultz over 200 yards passing in a couple of quarters, and another big one to Godwin.
And a great read from Matthew Schultz, because Larry Dean is coming on the blitz. They're going to come off the edge as well. So they've added 2 into the pass rush. So he knows he's got that imaginary clock in his head that's ticking. He only has a couple of seconds. He's got to wait for Godwin to get into that hole where Larry Dean usually lines up. And that's exactly where he gets to and delivers that strike.
2nd catch of the game for 17. 1st and 10 from the 41. Now out to Butler. Butler turns it upfield. Dean is there, and he's probably just shy of a 1st down. This will depend on the spot.
See, in Canadian football, this is an extended run play to me. When you're throwing it to the back, you're basically just getting them outside of the
head start,
edge pressure.
right?
Yeah, give them some space and get them the ball. It's hard to pitch the ball that far, so that little swing pass does exactly that.
2nd and 1. Time ticking down here in quarter number 3. And a push ahead. Pick up the 1st down. Only needed to get to the 31. And Kyle Oxley gets his job taken care of for the moment.
Great athlete. Coach Steinauer talking about nice to have a guy like the Swiss Army knife, with just a outstanding athlete. Plays on the teams, played on the Hands team, made a nice play and an onside kick to elevate and take the ball out of the air. And against Ottawa, had a big bubble screen that went for a touchdown.
Getting a fresh start at Hamilton. after starting the year out west. Little spin move. Paid the price. That time did Butler as Pete Robertson pops them pretty good. At the end of the third quarter, it's the Ticats on the road looking pretty good down the stretch here in the regular season. 28-13. They lead. Fourth quarter coming up here at Mosaic. The Riders trailing 28-13 and kind of been stuck in neutral offensively here most of the night.
Well, they're getting to midfield and no further. You can see that red zone column where it's 3 of 5 for the Ticats, and the Riders in 3 quarters have not been in the red zone. But I should say happy Thanksgiving Day weekend to all football fans across the country. Hope you're enjoying football. It was a great game last night between the Bombers and the Lions.
That was really fun. That was good.
You know, and we're here also mourning the loss of George Reed, honoring and paying homage to him and the 2013 Grey Cup champion Saskatchewan Roughriders in the house tonight. So a legend watching from above and legends in the building in person.
It's a great way to describe it in both aspects of what's happening here tonight. They've done an excellent job here as the organization, honoring number 34 this evening. 2nd and 9 for Hamilton. 4-man pressure. Schultz bought himself a little bit of time, throws it away. There's a flag as he let that ball go, and that's going to be a hold against the Ticats.
Yeah, you always can tell when the play takes that long to develop. Those offensive line end up having to grab or they get their quarterback hit.
Holding Hamilton, number 62. 10-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
Big boy out there at right tackle, 6'6" and 300 pounds. It was interesting to hear Coach Steinauer talk about Kelly and Murray and how they really have settled in a short amount of time and really affected in a positive way their run game for sure, but giving their quarterback more time to throw the football, no matter who is playing in there.
Never a bad thing. Empty backfield this time. 2nd and 19. Nice one-handed snag there by Smith. Tries to get some blocks along the far side of the field. Got about half of what they needed.
That was a good catch.
He made it look pretty easy, didn't he?
Yeah, he stuck a fork in that one. He just punched that left hand out and did it very routinely.
Didn't really lose too much momentum there either. Nice play by Smith. Over 540 yards receiving on the season. Legio out now on 3rd down. 37-yarder. His longest of the night. High snap, hauled in nicely and booted through. 31-13. Hamilton in full control right now. Dolegala 15 of 23 for 138 yards in this ball game, but nothing to Jones tonight. 42 yards to Bain, 30 yards to Emelis.
Well, the defense for Saskatchewan, Dustin, is giving up their average of late, which is around 36 points.
Yeah.
You know, and again, now you're asking a quarterback real young in his journey to score 40 to win.
3-man pressure. They get there and take him down with 3 men. How's that? Jamal Davis gets there. His 2nd sack of the season.
3 men, and they run a little stunt with the 3 men up front. So, you know, Dolegala is looking down the field. He wanted a layered post route right over the middle that was going to take a little bit of time to develop. But got home.
7-yard loss on that Ticat sack. They'll bring 4 this time. Dolegala with time decides to get it to his running back. Morrill found a hole, still pushing ahead. He almost got it. About a yard shy. And at this stage of the game, that offense ain't going anywhere.
Exactly.
A great effort by Morrow.
Yeah, it was just tremendous second effort. And pounding away to take that first hit, because this is what Hamilton wants defensively. Throw it underneath, rally to the tackle, you're punting the football. But Jamal Morrow had other thoughts. Nice 16-yard run and a chance for a first in short yardage.
3rd and 1. Pipkin right up the middle. Ooh, it's going to be close. Going to be very close. Needed the full 50.
You're going to have to bring him in, I think.
Take a look at this. If that ball is spotted on the 50, it'll be a first down. Decent push, but the Ticats held in there. And everybody's pointing in every direction out there.
Well, is the ball slightly behind that line? Because
this is going to be really close.
It's right on the 50. This might be short.
A couple inches short here, do you think?
Well, the football had to get to the white line, to the 50-yard line, and I don't think it's there.
Just short. Orlando Steinauer loves it. Riders fans, not so much. Pipkin. Oh boy, that's close. All right, this might be the best look we have. What do you think, Glenn?
Well, Craig Dickinson has challenged it, and he's going to take a look. And boy, it looks like he got there.
Sure does, doesn't it? Let's find out.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field is overturned. The ball carrier reached the 50-yard line. Therefore, it's going to be a first down Saskatchewan.
That's the right call. After we got that look at it, it did seem like he was at least to the 50.
Well, and it's a great challenge and one that Craig Dickinson had to go with, because with the score in the game and 12 minutes to go, you need this first down desperately. But you're right, this is the angle that really shows that it looks like the ball got to the line, that 50-yard line, and he fell over the 50-yard line. Almost never is that play overturned, but it was this time.
Dolegala and the offense back out on the field, and that one misses everybody. Maybe a miscommunication there with Schaefer Baker,
who's been quiet, although with the pressure on Dolegala, you know, I know probably Rider fans are sitting here saying, why isn't he throwing it deep? Like, try to take the top off the defense and go after it. Well, you need time to do that. You got to have time to throw the football, and he just hasn't had that extra second or two to stand in there and deliver the strike down the field.
home side, 11 of 20 on second down this game. Big one here. Ticats bring 5. Dolegala in trouble trying to escape. No! Taken down. Ball popped out. I'm not sure when that whistle went. Looked to me like he was down. Ticats are saying they've got it again, and the officials will gather to discuss.
Now, you mentioned off the top Dylan Wynn back in the lineup and the rotation on the D-line. I think he was involved with this play. First of all, the pressure once again.
On the field was the ruling on the field was the quarterback fumbled the football before he hit the ground, and the ball was recovered by Hamilton.
That was
so far the ruling by the officials on the field will be Hamilton first down.
Knocked out as he was going backwards. Edwards had him, and Lawrence came in.
Yeah, the ball's out.
Popped it out.
Yeah, the ball's clearly out. Now, the Ticats have to recover immediately. Dolegala had it for a second, but you could see Dylan Wynn getting in there. It's in between his knees, and he wrestles that one up to his arms. making an impact in his first game back.
After review by the command center, the ruling on the field stands. First down, Hamilton.
So they didn't have the turnover on downs, but just moments later, a fumble from Dolagala, and the Ticats get it back anyway.
Timer, please reset.
Well,
the
it
game
happens.
clock to
It happens
read
because of the
11
pressure,
minutes
and
40
again, it's
seconds.
Chris Edwards
11:40.
providing pressure. They're doing a nice job of showing blitz from the interior of the O-line, and then going to the edges with the actual blitz. In other words, those interior guys are dropping out, Thurman and Lawrence, and they're coming off the edges, and that's fooling the O-line and not giving Dolagala any time to throw.
Ticats will go back to work here, leading 31-13 on a Saturday night in Regina. Back on the ground, short pickup. So Schultz has come in, and after Bo Levi Mitchell started this game, took care of business pretty tightly, didn't he?
Great to see him back. And I mentioned his record against Saskatchewan, all those years playing against the Riders as a Calgary Stampeders, familiar with playing in Mosaic Stadium and how challenging that can be for an offense coming in. And boy, to have a 1-2 punch at the quarterback position with him and Schultz, with the playoffs right around the corner. It's nice.
Schultz gets this one away just in time. Now has a bunch of time. Dumps it off to Butler. Butler turns it up, takes it down to the 45 before he was popped.
Oh, big Micah.
Is that Micah Johnson getting out there?
Yeah, that was, I think, the big man hustling out there. Swing pass. Bring it out in the flat. Tights turn him inside, and
yeah, it was.
Dropped the shoulder, and that one stung a little bit for both of them.
Set to kick this away. First 2 and out of the ball game for Hamilton. Ooh, just got it away. You can tell by the crowd. That one was almost blocked. Bounces right at the 7 and out of bounds. Oh, what do we have here? Mason Fine into the ball game for the Riders. Da, 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 da. Well, interesting developments here late in this ball game. Mason Fine, who had 4 starts this season prior to an injury, went 1-3 in those starts, comes into the game here with the offense sputtering. I'm sure this is a discussion that'll fly under the radar in Regina this week. Here's Fine, hands it off, and we'll see what happens.
He's got a good completion percentage,
almost 70%.
Can get out on the edges and run the football or throw on the run. Replaced Trevor Harris and then was injured himself, and that opened the door for Jake Dolagala.
And in training camp, wasn't it close between the two of them, kind of battling that spot behind Harris, right?
Just before that, they didn't even know Trevor Harris was going to be part of the process.
Hand it off again, right up the middle. Another big burst by Jamal Morrow. Takes it outside the 35. Give him over 100 in the ball game for Jamal Morrow for a team that averages just 80 per night.
Brandon Council's getting a big block up front. He's got to get the edge there. That's the out block, the kick-out block, and then the down block from the inside in Logan Furlan. Down block there on the double team. Kick out by Council. Morrow to the races.
Fine, throwing this time. Schaefer Baker, first down Saskatchewan. He'll take it out just shy of the 50. The Ticats are saying that they've taken it away from them. Right now, the officials are marking it a first down for the Riders.
Yeah, new face, new guy in the huddle, changing the pace. That was really the first throw from Mason Fine. He was a couple of running plays. Jamal Morrow was doing the heavy lifting to get out of their own end, and then it's like changing the goalie, though. Sometimes it's not the goalie's fault. It's just...
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing. Even with Dolagala in this 4-game losing streak, we mentioned it. Like their last 7 games, they've allowed at least 29 points in all of them and are giving up 36 on average.
Still an outside shot that Trevor Harris could return. By the way, you were looking at him up in the spotter's booth trying to help with an extra set of eyes.
It's an injured Ticat on the field. It's Leonard slowly to get up. Welcome back, everyone. Mason Fine in the game. 3 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in the 4 starts that he had. 3 different quarterbacks have started at least 4 games for the Riders this year. He, of course, is one of them. 4-man pressure. Fine in the pocket. Takes off now. Tracked down and tripped up from behind by Jagarrett Davis. Couple yards for Fine on the scramble.
Yeah, those are the plays that Jagarrett Davis makes. And, you know, this won't be registered as a sack. I think he crossed the line of scrimmage, but he gets all the way up the field in that one-on-one battle, and look at the hustle to come back and catch Mason Fine from behind, or he picks up another 6 or 7 yards.
2nd and 8. Morrow up the middle, but not far enough. Midfield, and no more. 3rd and about 4 yards here for Fine in the offense.
Mark Washington has been sending pressure in these situations, whether it's 2nd or in this case 3rd.
Got to get forward to keep the offense on the field. Fine looks to his right, throws to his left, and that is broken up and batted away. Thurman stretches out and gets there. I'd like to welcome all of our viewers on TSN3 joining us after an evening of MLS soccer. Ticats in full control here, leading 31-13.
Keep in mind that coming into this game, this was an emotionally charged stadium. Big crowd, you know, just on their feet, celebrating the life of George Reed, celebrating the 2013 championship season. And the Hamilton Tiger Cats took the crowd out of it immediately with a quick start, and that went to Bo Levi Mitchell. If you're just joining us, QB1 from the beginning of the year is back and looks sharp. I mean, a couple of those big plays to Tim White, I mean, he was on. And when you take back and take a look at it, the timing was there. The pocket presence was there. The accuracy was there. He said to us this week, his arm feels fantastic.
Quick pass to the far side of the field. That pops out. Brunson, I believe, is on it. And the Riders able to come up with this football. And it is Brunson. Look at the turnovers in this game tonight. Defense is trying to make plays here.
Yeah, I think it was Jaden Dahlke who got up from the safety spot to knock the ball out. Then you notice Dahlke checked for it. He hit it. He knew he hit the ball, and he thought, that must be out there. He got up after this and went over and pushed the arms aside. So what? Did you have it or you don't have it?
That was Smith who had it and then didn't have it. And Brunson scooped it up. Fine. Quickly. Completion. First down. As he gets it into the hands of Emelis.
That's what's been missing from this offense for the Riders. When the Ticats send blitz, this is what you got to do. That's the check down. That's the blitz beater. Quick slant. Guys are playing off. That's what's been missing.
Less than 5 minutes ago. Fine. Down the field for Stearns. Oh, my goodness. What a play defensively. Katsatonis. His 5th interception of the season is spectacular. And he takes it back the other way. Ticats make another big play. Holy smokes.
I see a UBC making a play to get outside. I mean, first of all, he covers a ton of ground to pick up that corner route. Stearns run the corner route. He doesn't even think that that's catchable. So he just goes to the ground. and look at that athletic play. Well, now I'm not sure. Dequa and Katsatonis and I don't know. I was pretty sure it was going to be Montreal's safety. They play on Monday.
Katsatonis had that touchdown earlier in the year on the Cornelius left-handed throw.
My vote, I don't know.
Boy, is he having an excellent season. Toss in highlight reel play like that. Back on the ground to Butler.
All glory to God. Happy moving football. Love you, Kylie. Love you, Mom, Dad. Miles, Zoe. Xavier. Monroe.
Saskatchewan.
Love y'all.
This is the final timeout.
Great call, Coach. I was on the corner so quick.
Boy, this Hamilton team, you're a Hamilton Tiger Cat fan right now. You're pretty excited about what's developed over the last month. And you take a look at Bo Levi Mitchell's road record, and that it'll prove they hold on to this 31-13 lead 4 minutes to 45 wins.
It is the best road record of all time, that winning percentage. Flutie and Moon, the next two guys on that list. So we'll see where this Hamilton team is headed. But down the stretch, looks pretty good, on the verge of making it 5 of their last 7. And only the Grey Cup champs have beat them over the last 6 weeks. Wide open. White, look at that move. Midfield down to the 50. He had a huge first quarter, has been somewhat quiet since. But how about the magic after the catch on that one?
Well, yeah, and when you got an all-star receiver, or more than one, but Tim White's having himself an all-star year, and he made the plays he had to in the passing game early on. Bo Levi Mitchell throwing him a couple, and then Schultz after that. And then the game plan changes. You go to more James Butler when you got that big lead, and Hamilton has led really from start to finish here.
5th 100-yard game of the season for White. He had that in the first quarter. That's his first catch since the first quarter. All 4 receivers out to the right side. Oh, get out of my way. Schultz takes it down to the 35. Finesse and ferociousness on this one.
Wow, you don't expect that from a quarterback. He comes outside, fake inside to James Butler, and then that's not a little DB. That's Derek Moncrief. That's a linebacker coming up to make that stop on the quarterback run. A 15-yard gain and a hammer, not the nail.
Moncrief 6'2", 220.
You see Bo looking at that replay. He's going, wow, that was really good.
Now he has to do that next game. Less than 3 minutes to go. This time up the middle, Butler. Short pickup. Let's take another look here. Hey, what did we say? It's George Reed night, right?
I hear you.
Get out of this guy's way. Boom. That type of night for the Ticats. CFL Thanksgiving weekend continues Monday with the Red Blacks versus the Alouettes. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific, only on TSN. Don't work on Monday for many of you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy that football game.
Montreal is trying to hold off Hamilton.
Well, and after Hamilton, with what they've seen tonight, Montreal's got to be thinking, okay, we gotta keep it rolling here.
Nice job by Mike Gibson filling in for Scott Milanovic.
2nd and 8. Butler straight up the middle, give him another first down. James Butler, who hit the 1,000-yard mark on the season earlier. Just that first cut. Kind of automatic after that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think a little bit of the George Reed spirit has worked its way through both these tailbacks tonight. Because Butler's had a big night. Jamal Morrow certainly did his thing. It wasn't his fault they only scored 13 points. Georgette Reed right there beside George's jersey.
Quick little spin move gets them up to the 20. And then they take them down. Sanders in on that.
Ticats are real good in these close games, and in the blowout games, it feels like it snowballs on them quickly, and they, the record of 1-8. But again, this is a different team all of a sudden, and has been over the last month or so, with the addition of guys on defense like Dylan Wynn and Jagarrett Davis back into the lineup. Linebackers have been solid, and consistent play from real young DBs. All of a sudden, they've got some confidence.
Over 200 combined yards between Morrow and Butler on the ground here tonight. Butler looking for more, and he's got more all the way down inside the 10. And Butler running all over the Riders here late. 6th trip to the red zone for Hamilton tonight.
Yeah, the Riders defensively are once again not going to be looking forward to looking at this video, but I'm taking nothing away from the skill set of James Butler. I mean, even when you're playing on top of your game, we've seen him do that a ton in the last couple of years. Back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons for number 9.
Closing in on 100 yards tonight as well. So we know the story on Hamilton's side of things, no doubt about that. On the other side, the Riders are looking at their 5th consecutive loss. They were once 6-5. They will go to 6-10.
And they have Calgary next week. And I guarantee you, in Calgary, that the Stampeders are watching this game right now going, guys, we win that game.
They're licking their chops.
Absolutely.
Right now, right?
Absolutely. They're game back, but they'll have the season series.
By the way, it's been a spectacular season series between those two. I think I called one of those games, and I remember watching you and Rod do the other one. And that was, man, there's been so many outstanding games. Like, last night's game was awesome, and I know it was built up as the game of the year, and it was a great ball game. But there've been like 20 of those games this year. It's been phenomenal stuff.
Well, over 65% of the games have been decided in the final 3 minutes. Not tonight. But the Ticats look like they can make some noise come postseason time.
Hit your stride,
this
right?
lineup, yeah.
Back on the ground, pushing ahead. Will he emerge from that pile? No, the Riders are there this time to slow down Butler.
One thing about Craig Dickinson that he's got to try and figure out, and I don't know if there's a true answer, and I think Milt Stegall talked about it at halftime. You're not only playing so that you don't back into the playoffs, you go into them with a little momentum, but you're playing, now they have to play to get in the playoffs, but you're also playing for your jobs.
Yes.
And when I say the defense is not going to like looking at its video again in Saskatchewan, there are some guys that I'm telling you are not getting it done, and I don't just mean making mistakes that everyone makes.
Back to Butler again, pushing ahead. And he does surpass 100 yards. Both running backs in this game hit 100 yards. He'll be stopped just short, and it'll be 3rd and goal with 46 seconds on the clock.
I'll put it this way. One thing you can always control, no matter what's happening, is your effort. So no matter what it says on the scoreboard, and there's a guy who's a great example of it, Larry Dean.
Larry Dean.
No matter what it says on the scoreboard, you can control your effort. He does it every down, Larry Dean. You know, maybe that's a good idea for Craig Dickinson. Take the film and isolate Larry Dean for the entire season and say, guys, 12 guys like that, we're okay.
Kyle Loxley into the game. 3rd and goal from the 1 for the Ticats. Loxley stretching it out, and he walks in. Touchdown, Ticats. And things go from bad to worse. Late flag here as well for the Riders. Dean trying to calm things down there. Can't say enough about what Hamilton has done here. They've come out with a statement victory from Mosaic.
Took the crowd out of it early. Bo Levi Mitchell was sharp. Matthew Schultz had a big second quarter again. We showed you that graphic earlier on in the game. And yeah, they really led from start to finish and taking the crowd right out of it.
This was a 10-play, 73-yard drive after an interception by Katsatonis.
Major foul, misconduct, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan number 38. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Pelkey's been a little unhinged tonight, hasn't he?
Well, here's the thing, though, and again, I'm talking to young minor football league players right now. When I tell you, it is not tough when you're getting it handed to you to start throwing punches or whatever Dalkey did. Now, Dalkey's a good player, and I get it. It happens. I know that it's hard. It's difficult. They're not going to sleep all week because they lost another one. That's 5 in a row. And they're pros, and they want to be, rise to the occasion. But it's not tough to take a swing or push someone when it's over. If you want to show that you're tough during the game and making tackles and hustling to the football. I'm not saying Dalkey's one of those guys. He might be cruising a little bit, but Craig Dickens has got to figure that out.
38-13 for Hamilton.
Meanwhile, that's a pretty potent combination all of a sudden. Everyone was wondering, what are we going to see from Bo Levi Mitchell? Like, has he got a ton of rust on him after all this rest?
Let's go!
Or rehab, I should say, not necessarily rest. In fact, rehab becomes tougher than sometimes games. But he looked real sharp. Now, again, this Riders secondary has looked a little wobbly for a month, but take nothing away from these guys coming out and executing on the road.
There are also two quarterbacks who you can mix into games at the same time.
Absolutely.
Even if Bo's going to go for you in the playoffs, you can still get Schultz in there for 8 to 10 plays in a ball game because he can pass it, but he's also really good on the ground, right? So a true different look.
Absolutely. Different playbook, different chapter in the playbook. We've seen many, 1-2 punches at quarterback win championships. Barnes Huffnagel, Austin Burgess. Rider fans will know that combination.
Well, Hamilton has also now won a game against all 5 teams in the West this season. And this kick hit a body, bounced out of bounds. Also, Mario Alford did not have a chance to return a kick tonight. They stayed away from him the entire evening.
Hamilton number 33. Saskatchewan elects to take the ball.
Very bright future for that guy. That's Taylor Powell, who had to keep the ship afloat when Bo and Matthew Schultz went down. So, and did a real nice job. And again, emphasizing that Bo Levi Mitchell, who's been around for as long as he has and played at the level as he has, he wanted to make a point in our call this week that to tell us how he thinks Taylor Powell is going to be a star in the league. And it's his work ethic, his skill set, how he processes. Really high on young Taylor Powell for the future.
Well, Powell's got great people to learn from.
Yeah, no question. Scott Milenovich being a big part of that, too.
And we'll see what the secondary has for the Ticats down the stretch of the season. Pretty solid up front. Here's Hudon. He'll push it back ahead. He had a fumble earlier in the game. Takes this one up to the 50. Fine has come into the game for Dolegala, 2 of 4, and an interception. A spectacular interception by Katsatonis, but do you expect there to be a quarterback conversation in town this week?
Well, it has to be. Yeah, it's going to no I'm sure it is. I mean,
which is really funny, though, because the issue is a defense that allows 36 points a game right now, right?
And no protection for Dolegala when he tried to push the ball down the field a little bit.
Clock ticks down here at Mosaic. And one more carry for the rookie to take it to midfield, but that'll do it. 5-game losing streak for the Riders, who were once in pretty good control of a playoff spot. That's up in the air right now.
Yeah, man. Hey, shout out God. Shout out Hamilton. Shout out my mama. Ma, I love you. Shout out all my people back home. Man, 1K back to back, man.
James Butler.
Shout out to my O-line. Shout out to my receivers.
We're still,
Any other shutouts?
we're still hearing them in the background.
Red, Blacks, and Alouettes on Thanksgiving Monday. What a performance, though, from the Hamilton Tiger Cats tonight. A night that started with an honor and a tribute to a CFL legend and a celebration of a Grey Cup championship team 10 years ago. That's how it started. It ends with a dose of reality as the Riders lose at home by 25 to the Ticats, who have now won 5 of 7. That'll do it for us. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday nights. Let's send it to SportsCenter.
All right, we continue our show with the CFL as we welcome our viewers in from that Roughriders Ticats game. And both these teams sitting in playoff positions, with Hamilton looking to be able to get the opportunity to host the East semis. They're going to need Montreal to lose against Ottawa on Monday. However, the Roughriders, with the win, they can hold on to that final wildcard spot.
Yes, and it's a sight for sore eyes. Bo Levi Mitchell back for Hamilton. As you know, he hasn't played since late July with that broken leg. Bo's back, baby. There he is, starting for Hamilton after fracturing his leg on July 28th. First quarter, Mitchell passes to Tim White. He turns on the Jets, dodging through defenders, going 88 yards for the huge gain before being pushed out of bounds at the 10-yard line. The Ticats secured a playoff spot last week. On the following play, Mitchell passes to Omar Bayless for the score. They go 100 yards in 3 plays for 6. Bayless gets his first career touchdown. It's 7-0 Tiger Cats. The Ticats rotating in Matthew Schiltz as quarterback as well. Here on a 2nd and 4, Schiltz finds Bayless. He scores his 2nd touchdown of the game. Hamilton takes the 12-point lead with Mitchell cheering along from the sidelines. It's liking that. There we go. Meanwhile, Roughriders honoring the late George Reed before the game. Jamal Morrow bringing out the 34 flag for Reed, and both teams wearing the 34 decals for this one. Just before the half, Morrow takes it up the middle. He goes 32 yards for the touchdown, making the total score at the half 34, scoring with 34 seconds left on the clock, which was the number the 1965 MOP Reed wore for the Rough Riders. Go figure. Talk about that. They go on. Ticats go on to win this one, 38 to 13. The Rough Riders have lost 5 straight, but still hold a 4-point cushion over the Stamps for the final playoff spot in the Western Conference. And the Riders take on the Stamps next week on Friday Night Football. Calgary is on a bye this week. For more now, here's Kate and the panel.
Alongside Dave Naylor, Jim Barker, Milt Stiegel, and we are going to give a lot of credit to the Hamilton Tiger Cats in just a moment because they seem to be peaking at the right time. But first, the Saskatchewan Roughriders lose their 5th straight game on a night where there was so much emotion. They could have really built off this and turned things around, especially with the big matchup against Calgary coming next week. Instead, Dave, they did the complete opposite.
Yeah, there was an opportunity here for the Saskatchewan Roughriders to put some wind back into their sails after 4 consecutive losses. And look, for Rider fans, this is deja vu. I mean, this was a team that got off to a good start last season and then lost their last 7 down the stretch and missed the playoffs. Now, they may end up backing into the playoffs this year because Calgary's 2 games behind them, but they do not look like a team that's going to cause anybody any trouble. Jake Delagala has a really tough day. They managed to run the ball a little bit in the second half and towards the end of the second quarter, but by then, they're behind. This is just a team that doesn't look sharp. It doesn't look like a team that believes in itself. And, boy, it's... For Rider fans, this is really tough because when it feels like the rest of the league is moving past you, but you get to the end of the year, that's about the worst feeling in the world in football.
And belief is everything. And on the other side of the ball, On the other side of the ball, Bo Levi in that first quarter, he gave the people and most importantly, his teammates, his coaches, that belief that I'm going to take you guys. We're going to the promised land. I just think that he came out, he completed 4 of 6. He found Tim White on the outside, and then he finds him down the middle. And this is a typical Bo Levi pass right there. Hits him in stride, allows Tim White to do what he does. Down by the goal line, he gets a little corner post move. Perfect timing. This is the Bo Levi Mitchell that the Hamilton Tiger Cats went after. I'm telling you, Milt, there are people in the East who watch this game and are a little surprised today.
Yeah, the operative word was belief. That's what you said. They believe now. Belief comes from confidence. That's the best we've seen. And I know it was just a quarter, but that's the best we've seen Bo Levi Mitchell since 2018. Also, Matthew Shields, he came in and did a great job. And this team overall, they're believing in themselves. Yes, they don't control their own destiny when it comes to having a home playoff game. But right now, they can play in Montreal, they can play in Hamilton, they can play anywhere, and this team is playing some great football. So they have to be excited about the way they're ending their season. This is the way you want to go into the playoffs, playing some great football on both sides of the ball, special teams. It's exciting right now for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, because where's the Grey Cup this year? It's in Hamilton. If they can get back there again, they would be exciting. There was a lot of promise coming into this year. You signed Bo Levi Mitchell. Everyone's saying, okay, we're going to finally get over that Grey Cup hump. But right now, hey, they have an opportunity to do it because they're playing some great football.
They've lost 4 games to the Toronto Argonauts this season, but they're gunning to get one more shot at them.
Yeah. You know, back to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, that was some of the worst tackling I've seen. I couldn't get by without saying
you had to get that in, Coach.
It hurt me.
No effort.
It looked like it was lacking effort.
I mean, I was so pumped after the whole George Reed thing, and it was, you know, the 13 team is there. And then they're tackling, let me down.
This has been the entire 3 hours of Coach complaining about the tackling and how we could all tackle better. A tough night for the Riders, though, and a huge matchup coming up against them and the Calgary Stampeders as we send it back to SportsCenter.
Can I just say, of all of our panels, and this is no knock on any other panel, the CFL panel is my all-time favorite. No one has more fun than them. They're fantastic. Really, they're great. Anyways, with the Ticats win, that improves Bo Levi Mitchell's road record to 45-15 all-time. His .750 winning percentage is best all time. He also improves to 12-4 all time against the Riders.
New on SC, here he is, Bo Levi Mitchell.
Well, Bo, I guess you could say you were here for a good time, maybe not a long time out there for play. You did get 1 touchdown, though. You threw 4. So how did it feel to get back on the field?
Yeah, I thought you figured it out earlier in the week. I don't know how you did, but yeah, we had a good plan. We knew what we were doing going forward. Obviously, we weren't going to put it out there, but man, it felt good to get out there, just play with the boys, and just watch the way the guys competed, you know, from the very start.
Well, let's talk about your offense, the way that they were able to shut down that Riders defense tonight.
Yeah, I mean, how about Matt Shields? Did y'all see him run that man over? Yo, that man is different. But no, I mean, honestly, everybody, I don't know if we had a sack tonight. The O-line played outstanding. I mean, 360 passing, 120 rushing. Big shout out to JB, been the best player on our team all year, man. Number 9, 1,000 yards.
This team seems to be rolling right now. You played some great football this last month. How much does it excite you to be back in the lineup at a time like this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just belief, right? Like, we all have belief in each other. I always had that belief and just has kept instilling that into us all year, no matter what the record, no matter what the previous game. He said, you know, we're going to get in the right spot, we're going to get hot at the right time, and we just got to keep believing, keep moving. And everybody who can be a part of it, we're going to be.
Well, thanks so much, Bo. Welcome back.
Thanks, Bro. Appreciate it.
Right, so looking ahead, the Alouettes host the Red Blacks to wrap up Week 18 in the CFL. Here's the odds courtesy of FanDuel. The Alouettes are 6.5-point favorites as they look to cover the spread for their 4th straight game. Meanwhile, the Red Blacks have just 1 victory in their last 9 games. Ottawa has gone 7-2 to the over during that span. The total for this matchup is set at 47.5. Pre-game coverage begins Monday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. Pacific on TSN. New on SC, Coach Craig Dickinson, unhappy, to say the least.
You know, I did not see that coming at all, Taylor, and I told the team in there, I said, you know, I don't have a lot of words for you because never in a million years did I think we'd go out there with all the things that we have to play for, playoffs, George Reed, honoring George Reed and his family, the 13 team. We had all sorts, and just the intrinsic motivation of going out there and doing what we love to do. I just did not see that coming. Very disappointed. I'm embarrassed. I feel like that's embarrassing when you go when you lose like that at home, and you got so much to play for. So I didn't say a lot to him, but I did tell him we're going to come back and go to work because that's what we do. We get paid to work, win, lose, or draw. And regardless of the performance and what happened out there, we get paid to come back and go to work. So pretty quiet locker room.
What was lacking tonight?